Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Homestead Miami Speedway here in Homestead, Florida, just south of Miami City. Here, the 1.5 mile Homestead Miami Speedway will be host of race number 6 on the 2025 Quick Finishers Racing League season. So glad you could join us here on the Sim World Racing Network. My name is Nathan Christensen, and we are just about set to go qualifying here in a matter of minutes. We have about 8.5 minutes or so left in practice for the Quick Finishers Racing League event tonight. Sitting on top of the board with quick time so far, the number 6 machine, that is Rodney Uber-Packer. Right behind him is James Nelson in the auto serve number 75 right there on your screen. Then sitting right now in third, the 2 car, the Harley Davidson number 2 Chevrolet Camaro, that is Tyrone Yo. And then Curtis Sobran and Gregory Robinson round out your top 5 here as we get towards the end of practice. Again, happy that you could join us here tonight for this event. Back on the air for race number 6. Last week we saw Ken Pack go to victory lane at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway to pick up his second win of the 2025 season. So we'll see if he can win another one or if we'll have a first-time winner on the season. So far, Andrew Davis, Larry Stubblefield, and Kenneth Pack have all made it to victory lane here with the Quick Finishers Racing League. So we'll see if we can add another name to that list from Homestead Miami Speedway. We're going to keep an eye here on practice, take a look at some cars out on the track. There is, as I mentioned, a previous race winner, picked up the victory at Atlanta earlier this season. That is the 33 body armor Chevrolet Camaro of Andrew Davis. Another driver out on track. Let's take a look here. Officer Lurfano, the number 8 machine. That is Dave Lurfano out of Poland, Maine, the driver in that number 8 machine. Also on track, the number 32, the Yahoo number 32. Well, he was on track. He is now off track. There he is, the Yahoo number 32. That was Mike Boisvert. Ryan Steinhoff in the 74 here, headed down this front straightaway in the Pimax number 74 Chevrolet. We got Greg Barnett out there in his number 38 Night Owl So's Camaro. Austin Johnson in the Bass Pro Shops, number 77 Tracker ATV and Boats machine, gets into the inside wall there, coming off of turn number 4. We have the 88 machine, that is Tyler Seivert. He is with us tonight. The Krampus Creations machine. Let's see here, we got 2-time winner on the year, the 16 car Kenneth Pack, as I mentioned, picking up the victory again last week at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Also picked up the season opening victory at the Daytona 500. Right there, coming out of the pits, that's the number 85, the Husky 85. That is Tyler Nelson. Driving the number 98 tonight, that is Zulu in that beautiful looking number 98 machine. That is a Toyota Camry headed down the back straightaway for Zulu. James Bowden also on track in his number 53, the Racing Champions number 53 Ford Mustang right there on track. Another driver out there, the 05, the Haviland 05, that is Clayton Cyrus on track right there in that beautiful Haviland machine. Heading down towards turn 3 and 4. We're going to bring you a quick segment here on the broadcast. It's going to be called Hanging with Hillbilly Hara. Dave Hara, the driver, the number 15 Chevrolet Camaro is going to take us for a lap and talk to us about the Homestead Miami Speedway.
Hillbilly here from Homestead Miami Speedway down in lovely Miami, Florida. Thank you for watching right here on the SimWorld Racing Network. This is the All-American Racing League taken to the track tonight from Homestead. Track temps are a little hot for this, but we're going to take you for a couple of laps around the Speedway here, show you a couple of different lines the drivers will be running tonight. Across the start-finish line and head down to turn 1. Some of these drivers are going to get on the brake a little early, let off that throttle, get down to this white line, try to wrap this white line as far around the corner as they can, get back on the accelerator as early as possible. Now, it's going to be slick off the corner, especially if the temperatures are this warm. And you tend to lose the rear end there. When you get down to 3 and 4, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to try to get it down to that white line. Get back on the throttle as early as possible. Let it track out to the wall. And that'll be a lap around Miami. Now, some drivers will choose to run the higher line, where they're going to be up against this wall. They don't want to touch the wall. If they can avoid it, they're going to touch it at some point. Get as high as they can. Then that allows them to get back in the throttle just a little bit earlier than you can on the bottom side. You see me getting loose right there on exit. All the way down into 3, you're going to do the same thing, close to that wall. Bring it down just a little bit. Let her drift up and get close without touching. Oh, we touched just a little bit there. You're going to see that all night long with the drivers running the high line. And they come off of 4 back to the start-finish line. That's a couple of laps here at Homestead. Now, the times are going to be a lot faster. The tires here were cold. But it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight. So I hope you enjoy yourself right here on SimWorld Racing Network for the All-American Racing League's race number 6, I believe, at Homestead, Miami. Thanks for watching. I'm Hillbilly, and I'm out of here. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for that, Hillbilly. That was Hanging with Hillbilly. A couple laps here around the Homestead Miami Speedway to give you a better look at what the drivers see from their cockpit. Out on track there, you see that is Tommy Osborne in that number 28 car, sitting currently in 20th here in practice tonight. So tonight we honor the firefighters of Dade County in the city of Miami who are battling with some severe fires on hand right now down in Miami. So we send this one out to them, and hopefully they stay safe and help keep the city safe and get those fires out as soon as possible. So that's why we have the Firefighter 280 tonight from Homestead Miami Speedway. Will be 187 laps or 280 miles tonight. Stages will be at the end of lap 56 and 116. So we'll keep an eye on that here as we get set with just about 2 minutes to go here in practice. So far it looks like we have 26 cars looking to do battle here tonight out on track as we get set, almost ready to go qualifying. A few cars still out there practicing. There is the Steinhoff 74 right behind. I believe that is Lerfano's number 8 machine there, working through the turn 1 and 2 end of the speedway. See what else we got going on. Not too many cars out there practicing. Still got that 32, the boy there, 32 out there looking to put down some final practice laps here in practice. Just about a minute to go before we get set to go qualifying. Qualifying will be 2 laps for each car. Fastest of those 2 laps will set your starting position tonight for this one. As I mentioned, 187 laps around the 1.5 mile Homestead Miami Speedway as Boy Bear makes some contact there with that outside wall. And we'll take a look here. There is Dave Hare in that number 15. Looking to improve on his finish from last night in the All-American Racing League race that saw Chris Essery go to victory lane for the first time in his career with the All-American Racing League. So Chris looking to do what Ken did last week and go back-to-back on back-to-back nights as he will look to double up here at Homestead. But If there's anyone who thinks that they can gun him down, it's the 15 of Dave Hara here, as he looks to improve on his finish from last night. So as we get to the end, again, the end of practice here, wrapping up, just under 10 seconds to go before we get set for qualifying here from Homestead. As qualifying gets underway, again, 5 minutes is the time amount for qualifying. Fastest lap will set your starting position, as we talked about there briefly. So we'll see who is already out on track. Looks like Dave Hara getting up to speed, heading down the back straight. Michael Boisvert using the on-road, the inside road there to get onto the track. Greg Barnett up into the wall a little bit off of turn number 4 as he gets set to take his first lap. The 12 car Dustin Matney just getting up onto the track. Also, we got Ryan Steinhoff out there. Andrew Davis will look to go for back-to-back poles. He set the pole last week from Las Vegas, but his race ended very early with an accident early in that one. I think he only got to complete about 4 or 5 laps before his night unfortunately came to an end. So some cars already ready on their first lap. Dave Hara will head into turn number 3 at the completion of his first one, see if he can set a quick time. First car across the line, though, was Davis, and then Steinhoff. Lafano, though, quickest right now, 33.313 for Steinhoff. Tyler Nelson up to second, a 33.702 for the 84. A couple cars jump in the middle, though. Hara goes to second, 33.321. And then Johnson's 33.520 so far, third quick, as we have some more cars that will come around to complete their second lap, as well as a bunch more cars completing their first lap. Not going to be a quick one for the 33 as he spins out coming out of turn 4, so that'll end his qualifying run. But Ryan Steinhoff will go to the top of the board. He'll get beat, though, that time by Lafano's 33.150. James Nelson jumps up there into the 4th spot, but Dave Hara now goes quickest on the pylon. Gregory Robinson, that number 3 car, headed down the back straightaway on lap number 2. Currently sitting in 10th spot. See if he can improve on that. Tyrone Yo, Ken Pack also completing laps. Kirby Wainscott in the 10. Zoltan and the Zulu in the 98. He has set a time here on his first lap, sitting in 8th position. See if some more cars will come around to complete their second lap. If we have any more changes inside the top 10 at least, as Robinson, he'll jump up to 3rd quick, but he'll get bested by Ken Pack, as those two will now get bested by Rodney Uberpacker. So lots of movement here on the board early in this one. Provisional pole about halfway through qualifying still goes to the 15 at Dave Hara there, a 33.110 with Lafano, his teammate, looking to go from the outside with a 33.150. Steinhoff second, Uberpacker and Nagy your top 5. Nelson and Nelson, 6th and 7th. Ken Pack, Robinson, and Courage like your top 10. Looks like Chris Essery on track in that Mobile 1 number 4 Ford Mustang, headed down through turns 3 and 4, end of the Speedway on his first of 2 laps, looking to set a time here out of turn number 4 is the 4 car. Down to the stripe again, last night's winner with the All-American Racing League. He's going to go 12th quick on lap 1 for Essery. 33.577, so a little bit of work to do to get a little higher on the board. About 0.6 of a second off of Harris' fast time right now of a 1:10. Only car out on the track at this time is that Essery number 4 as he works his way out at turn number 4, coming down to complete lap number 2. See if he can improve on a 12th place starting position. He does just that, goes to second. Essery up to second with a 33.123 33.123 for Essery, so just 2/100ths of a, or 1/100th of a second off of the time set by Dave Hare here in qualifying. 35 seconds to go before the end of qualifying, as no one else seems to be on track, and they wouldn't have enough time to get around anyway. So it looks like the pole is going to go to that number 15 car. That is Officer Hillbilly Dave Hare. Looks like he will pick up the pole from Homestead Miami Speedway. Still about 15 seconds to go, but no cars on track at this time, so that should pretty much lock that up for driver of the number 15, Dave Hare, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, will be the pole sitter for tonight's event. So that'll wrap up qualifying here from Homestead as we get set to set the grid on pit road for the 187 laps here tonight of Homestead Miami Speedway. So glad you could join us on the SimWorld Racing Network. Tonight's presentation, the Firefighter 280 here for the Quick Finishers Racing League as we get set. As you can see, the cars are gridding on pit road. I have a couple minutes to get on pit road and get set to go for 280 miles this afternoon. Before we get too far, we're going to let's take a quick look at the point standings coming into tonight's event for the Quick Finishers Racing League. You're going to see that the 16 of Ken Pack sits on top of the points. Right behind him, James Nelson and Mike Kurdslak both tied for second. Then Andrew Davis, after a disappointing race for him last week, has dropped him in the standings a few spots. Philip Chavez sits in fifth. Dave Hare, Zulu, Greg Barnett, Chris Essery, and Tommy Osborne. You're rounding out the top 10. Then you have Mike Boone, Mike Boisvert, Larry Stubblefield, Tyrone Yo, Greg Robinson, through the top 15. Kirby Wainscott, Ryan Steinhoff, and Dustin Matney will be 16 through 18. As we get set to roll the cars here onto the speedway just momentarily, as we get set to go. Just about 30 seconds left for everyone and anyone to grid. We're just waiting for a couple cars still to join the grid there before we roll off for one pace lap. We'll bring you the starting lineup as quickly and as best we can before we come out of turn number 4 looking for the green flag here at Homestead. So we'll bring you the starting lineup on the field. Dave Hare and Chris Essery will go from row number 1. Dave Lerfano and Ryan Steinhoff in row number 2. We got Rodney Uberpacker out of Eugene, Oregon, and Zulu from Hungary in row number 3. James Nelson and Tyler Nelson, father-son duo, go from row number 4. Ken Pack and Greg Robinson will be in row number 5. Michael Kurdslak and Austin Johnston in row 6. Dustin Matney and Greg Barnett will go from row number 7. Row number 8 will be Andrew Davis and Kirby Wainscott. Row number 9 will see the driver out of York, Pennsylvania, Tyrone Yo, and Bakersfield, California's Philip Chavez from row number 9. Row 10 is Tyler Sievert and James Bowden. Row 11 is Stephen McGaw and Clyde Cirrus. Tommy Osborne, Michael Boisvert, Ricky Riley, and Curtis Sobran will go off from the tail end of this one as the field will roll through turns number 3 and 4 as we get set to go racing here this afternoon. Dave Hare on the front row with Chris Essery, Dave Lerfano and Steinhoff in row 2, Uberpacker and Zulu in row 3 as they are into the restart zone as the green flag is up and we are racing for real here at Homestead. A great start for the 4 car there on the outside, looking to see if he can clear the Hare 15 down into 1. He might be able to get him on the exit of 2 as they go down the back straightaway. The leader at this point, the 4 of Essery. Steinhoff, though, on the outside now of Dave Hare and Dave Lerfano down the back straightaway, looking to make a move up a little closer to the front in that Pimax number 74 here early in this one. Still works its way off of turn number 4. Everyone's still straight and pointed in the right direction. A lot of good racing here going on at the front of this one as they work their way down into turns 1 and 2. Top, bottom, middle, everyone is all over the place here early in this one. As Steinhoff has made his way up to second. Uber Packer right there on the bottom in that purple and white 6 machine, looking to make a move to the inside of the Lurfano number 8. Can't get it done as Lurfano's going to drop to the bottom, cut off that run from the 6 car. Zulu up top in the gray. Black number 98 there working that top side. Now Hera able to get back around Steinhoff, but Steinhoff is going to look back to the inside as they head down into turns 1 and 2 again. This time it's going to be Hera on the outside. Steinhoff right down on the white line as they exit 2 to drag race down the back straightaway. Steinhoff will slip in line behind the number 15 machine this time as they work back down into turn 3 and 4. Keep an eye on James Nelson. He is up there in the battle in that number 75 auto serve Ford Mustang. Gets a little slippery sideways there through 3 and 4. Able to regain. He's going to lose a little bit of ground as he's got to get back the momentum going after he slid the rear tires there through 3 and 4. 3 and 4 wide battle behind them. That involves the 16 of Ken Peck. That's the 41 of Kurzlek. Greg Robinson and Tyler Nelson all in the middle of that one down the back straightaway. As now Ken Peck will look to go to the bottom on the entry of turn number 3. Keep in mind, Peck 2 wins on the year for the driver of that number 16 machine out of South Carolina. He goes side by side with the auto serve 75 on the exit of turn number 3 and 4 down the front straightaway. And it's just slide up and behind him, but up front still Chris Essery leading the way as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. Steinhoff back there sitting in 3rd. Looks like Lurfano in 4th. Uber Packer 5th. Zulu in 6th this time. Down the back straightaway they go. Continues to be the Essery number 4 up front in this one early. Continuing where he left off last night in dominating fashion. Collected maximum number of points last night. Picked up both stage wins. Fastest lap of the race as well as the race win on his way to securing maximum points last night. But we will continue to watch this develop as the battle's still all over the track in this one. As you can see now, Steinhoff looks to the outside of Lurfano on the exit of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. He's going to have a good spot and a good run down into turn 3 and 4. But Lurfano says not quite that easy. I'm going to battle back on the bottom. Uber Packers looking for either one of those guys to make a mistake to take advantage of them. Back down the front straightaway. Zulu now going to make a move on the 6 cars. They head down to turn number 1 and 2. Still running in the 5th and 6th positions is Uber Packer and Zulu door to door through turns 3 and 4. Those guys look to settle this on the back straightaway as Uber Packer will get back out in front of that number 98. Keep an eye on Ken Pack again, still in the middle of this one is Nelson also there, looking to go 3 wide on the exit of turn number 4. Think better of that as Ken Pack will slide up and behind the Zulu number 98. He's going to use a little bit of side draft on the side of the 75 down into turn number 1. And lots of 3 wide racing in this one as these guys are going at it. Don't count Kurzlek out. He says he wants to be part of this battle down the back straightaway. All this going on while Essery, Hera, Steinhoff, and Lurfano are battling it out here in the first 4 spots. Uber Packer now up to 5th. And back down the front straightaway they go. We'll take a little further back as you can see the 3rd and 3. That is Andrew Davis, Dustin Matney right there in that number 12 car. You got the 38 of Barnett right in front of them. Andrew Johnston, Austin Johnson in the number 77, also right there with Tyler Nelson. We'll go even a little further back. We'll see the 14 of Philip Chavez and Steve McGaw in the number 83. James Bowden behind them. He's got company with Michael Boisvert in the 32. Clayton Cyrus in that 05 out there on track. Tommy Osborne there as well as the 88 of Tyler Seibert. And then Kirby Wainscott missed the gridding process, so he had to start from pit road. So he is at the tail end of this one, working his way here on the track. But up front continues to be the Essery machine, followed by Dave Hera, and then Steinhoff and Uber Packer now able to get around Lurfano for 4th here. front straightaway. Already quickly 10 laps completed of the 187 this afternoon. Great racing. Makes the laps go by quick, man. That's for sure. Here as they work down the back straightaway again. Lots of cars all still nose to tail as Harold going to look to the bottom underneath the S34 this time. Uber Packer's going to look to the top. Hera gets the nose to the inside of the rear quarter panel off of turn number 4, but the momentum of the higher line will prevail as Esri will close that door, and Hera will have to go back to work down in turn 1 and 2. He does just that by going right to the bottom line through 1 and 2. It's going to be clear of the 4, maybe on the exit of 2. Definitely has a bit of an advantage at the start of the straightaway, but the top side momentum, like we've seen many times, will carry Esri back around the top of the 15 as they hit turn 3 and 4. But Hare's not giving up on that bottom line. Goes back to work off of turn 4, see if he can lead a lap here at the line, although Esri is going to have a run out of turn 4. It's going to be Esri leading his 12th lap of the race on front of this one since the drop of the green, that number 4 car. But he's got company in a hard fighting number 15 of Dave Hera. Gonna try to keep Hera down, pinched to the bottom to keep the momentum away from him and not being able to drift up the track to use all of it to get the maximum out of that car, though, as they work again back through 3 and 4. Still side by side this time out of turn number 4. Still trying to sort it out behind them. It's Uberpacker in third, Lervano, then Steinhoff, Ken Peck, James Nelson, all right in this one. And that's your top 7 as they work now. Esri clears the 15. He's going to go back to the bottom. That's going to put a little bit, take the air actually off the front of the 15. Car's going to push up halfway through the corner, and we have a caution on the track. Looks like a 2-car incident here involving the Nelson 85 and the Barnett 38. We'll see if we can get a replay of what brings out the first caution on the afternoon here on lap number 14. Well, looks like Barnett just drifted up the track, unfortunately gets into the rear quarter panel of that number 85, and they both go spinning down to the infield. Take one more look at what happens so you can see Nelson on the top side, and the 38 just drifts up into that rear quarter panel, like I said, and both cars go spinning. Hard contact with the rear of the car to the inside wall for the 85. Doesn't look like the 38 hit anything while he was spinning, so he should be good to rejoin this race, but Tyler might have to bring that car down to the attention of his picker. So you see a hard contact with the rear of the car. Crumples up the rear and the spoiler, so we'll see how much that damage affects the driver of the number 85 machine, but Barnett keeps it on track, won't have to bring it to pit road as he has no damage after that one. So at the end of that replay, we got pit road opened up, so it looks like we're going to see all the cars on the pit road. I know that the drivers cannot make it on fuel to the end of stage number 1, so this may be enough to get them there, though, as pit road open as the field completes lap 15 this time at the line, and everyone on track will head to their pit stall. Not sure if anyone will take tires or if this is going to be a fuel only stop. We'll keep an eye on some of these cars. Doesn't look like any jacking up or down of cars happening, and Esri is going to win that run off of pit road. He's going to bring Hera and Lerfano right behind him. Then it looks like Steinhoff and Ken Peck. Uberpacker, the big loser on that one, drops all the way back to 10th position, but it looks like he might have taken some tires, as I think we saw the car getting jacked up there. So let's take a look here. Yeah, so 15-second pit stop for Uberpacker. Looks like he's going to take 4 tires and fuel, while everyone else in the top 12 from Esri right back to Chavez, looks like they only took 2 tires or fuel only on that stop. A couple more drivers, a little bit longer stops, meaning they took some tires. I believe Zulu and Austin Johnston, those drivers who might have taken tires in this one. But they will roll back out onto the speedway. They'll catch the back of the iRacing pace car there, just coming out of turn number 4. Looking to get the 1-to-go signal this time from the starter, which means they will double up next lap, and we will look for a green flag next time out of turn number 4. The leader of the race, Chris Essery, he had some connection issues there and has dropped back He'll have to get back up to the front, I believe. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, he's going to make his way back to the front, obviously. Bit of a connection issue there. Dropped him out of our screen, but he is now back, so we'll keep an eye on that as back and forth, on and off, on and off. He's going to have Dave Hera on his outside. So it's going to be Esri and Hera in row 1. Lurfano, Steinhoff, row 2. Ken Pack and James Nelson in row 3. Kurdzlek, Robinson, Davis, Uberpacker, Tyrone Yo and Philip Chavez will be in that 6th row. Zulu and Dustin Matney will make up row number 7. Austin Johnston and Clayton Cyrus in row number 8. Control car will be the 4. Esri, he's got to be the first car to fire inside the Geico restart zone. Once he does, everyone else will be able to go. If he does not fire by the time he gets to the end of the Geico restart zone, it'll be on the flagman. He will throw the green flag and it'll be a free-for-all down into turn number 1. Check that wheel. Pull them belts a little bit tighter as we get set to go back racing with the Quick Finishers Racing, the Firefighter 280 from Homestead Miami Speedway, set to go back racing here on lap number 18 into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out and a good jump for Esri on the inside. They're going to work his way up through the gears as the field stumbles, bumbles, and tumbles down into turn number 1. Esri clears the Hera 15 down into turn number 1. Hera and Lurfano there battling out. Steinhoff right behind them with Ken Peck and James Nelson not going anywhere here early in this one. We're going to get some good 2x2 racing down the back straightaway. As that is Lurfano on the inside this time. Hera in his unpreferred groove there up on the top side, seeing if he can make some hay while the sun shines. Here gets a good run out of turn number 4. Closes in on the back bumper of the number 4 machine down the front straightaway, but it's still Esri up front. Has led 17 of the 18 laps. Dave Hera managed to lead one earlier in the race, but it's been all Esri all the time for the most part here. Another battle developing with Ken Peck and Ryan Steinhoff. James Nelson there. Nelson will go outside to inside down into turn 3 and 4. They're going to go 3 wide. Peck in the middle. He's going to drop in line behind the 75. Robinson and Kurdzlek there also in this one. It's going to be a 5-car battle off of turn number 4 while we keep an eye up front. Still Esri, Hera, Lurfano, Steinhoff. Davis there in that blue 33 cars, flexing his muscle into the top 10 here early in this one. Already 19 laps completed, the 187. Davis now on the outside, and Nelson, he's going to try to bring Uberpacker with him into turn number 3. They're both going to clear the Nelson 75 down into the corner as Nelson will settle in now back in the 10th position. That'll move Uberpacker to 9th. Davis up to 8th at this point. They head down the back straightaway into turn number 1 and 2. Again, it's going to be all Esri all the time still as he leads Hera and Lurfano through 1 and 2. A little bit of a gap back to Steinhoff and Ken Peck. The battle off of turn number 2 side by side. Drag race down the back straightaway. Position number 4 on the line here for that battle as they head to turn 3 and 4. You got Robinson there in the orange, white, and blue number 3. You got Kurdzlek right down on the bottom in that 41 machine. Oh, we got trouble for Steinhoff. Might have got a piece of the Robinson number 3 there. A little bump sends the Steinhoff car sliding down to the apron. So that's not going to do very much work for the tires. Is he able to gather it back up? He's going to cycle back in here about 8th or 9th, the back half of the top 10. With Uberpacker working his outside now. So he's going to settle in 9th after getting that car recovered. Again, I think he got a little help from the 3-car Robinson. Not intentional by any means through the turns 3 and 4. Sent that car pretty loose and he was able to hold on to keep it out of the inside wall. But I'm sure those tires are not going to be very happy with him here in this one. He looks back to the outside of Nelson now. That's the battle for 9th and 10th. Davis right in the end. Nowhere to go, unfortunately, for the Steinhoff 74 at this point. There you see the Robinson 3 right in front of them. Uberpacker now back up to 6th position after taking 4 tires and fuel on that last trip down pit road there on the lap 14 caution for an incident between Greg Barnett and Tyler Nelson early in this one. One caution already on the afternoon. Looking again for the completion of the stage here as we work our way through the stage number 1. And stages are at the completion lap 56 and 116. That's 56 and 115 will be the stages here this evening. So keep an eye on this battle, but up front still continues to be Esri, Hera, Lurfano. And we got Ken Pack back there in 4th. Roddy Uberpacker now works around Kurdzlek. He will get back up into the 5th spot. He's going to work though on Ken Pack, not satisfied with 5th. He wants a piece of 4th this time out of turn number 4. Side by side down the front straightaway. A lot of momentum behind that 6th car. He will clear the Ken Pack machine down into turn number 3. The Goat Racing diecast number 6 works his way around the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to set his sights rather on the 8 of Lafano here in this one as they head down the halfway point of the back straightaway into turn number 3. Lead for Esri about 0.6 of a second over Hera at this point. So opening up here as the stage goes on. Side by side battle for 3rd now, as Uberpacker is going to use that same move he used on Ken Pack to get around the outside of the 8 car. Pretty sure the fresh tires are on that number 6, so that's going to help him get a little bit more speed out of that. Excuse me, that Ford Mustang as he works his way off of turn number 2, now able to clear the 8 fully as Lafano will slide up in line behind him. We'll take a look at the field a little further back here, see what's going on as they've settled some stuff out and they're running single file. Over the 98 of Zulu now sitting in 11th, looking to go around the Steinhoff 74 here at a turn number 4. That'll be a move for 10th place. Steinhoff will come up and close the door on Zulu, but he will turn it back to the inside and get back down to the bottom into turns 1 and 2, looking to move into the top 10 after another car that took what I believe was 4 tires and fuel on that first pit stop. He's going to drift up in front of Steinhoff, but Steinhoff is going to say, I got the bottom in turn 3 and 4. Look out of my way, here I come. As the guy in the 74 will hold the middle line, and Zulu working that top half of the track in that beautiful number 98 Toyota Camry. Off of turn number 4 they come. Side by side drag race down to the line, pretty much a dead heat between those two as they drive up on the back bumper, the 33 body armor Chevrolet Camaro. That is Andrew Davis in that beautiful blue machine. Works their way through 1 and 2. Still nose to tail is himself and Zulu with Steinhoff there looking to make up ground on the bottom into turn 3 and 4 now they go. As we keep an eye here on a little further back, some battling going on. That is the Boy Bear 32, the Johnston 71. Magoo in the 83, and that is the, I believe that's the Barnett 38. It is very similar looking cars, a couple of them, so just got to make sure we get the right name with the right car, as that is Barnett involved in that early accident, or early incident, sorry, here on lap 14. He's back up to the 16th position, tracking right behind the Johnston number 77 on the outside of that 83 down into turn 3 and 4. Back up front though, Esri's opened the lead up to about 0.7 of a second, 3/4 of a second almost that time across the start finish line down into turn 1 and 2 as we work lap number 30 of 187. So as I mentioned, clicking them off quick and easy here. 1 caution on the afternoon so far, but up front it's been all Esri all the time. Now Uberpacker up into 2nd after getting around Dave Hera. He will look to track down the driver of the number 4 car here over the last 26 laps of stage number 1. Take a look here at the current temperatures. Air temperature about 80 degrees Fahrenheit here in southern Florida today. Track temperature sitting at a balmy 88 degrees. Looks like an issue for another driver on track. Tyler Seberg might have had an issue. We'll take a look here at what happened to him, see if he got a piece of the wall. Sure did. Out of turn number 2, got up into the fence, able to continue, is the driver in that 88 car. You see them there on the track, currently running, unfortunately in the 24th position, so last car on track at this point, but still pointed in the right direction. Just trying to keep that thing on the lead lap here as we work towards the end of stage number 1. Up front though, the gap between Uberpacker and Esri is down to 0.3 of a second. As I mentioned, Uberpacker has taken those tires. And looks like we have another caution on the track as we are under caution here on lap number 32. We'll take a look and see if we can see what happened. Looks like an accident involving Barnett, Boisvert, and Chavez. So Boisvert gets loose off of turn number 4. He's going to collect the 38, and then the 12 car of Dustin Matney spins to the inside wall. In a separate event, so a couple things happening. We'll take one more look here at the Boisvert incident involving him and Greg Barnett. So again, Boisvert, you'll see him just get loose off of turn 2, slides down into the side of the 38. Fortunately for the 77, able to avoid that, but here comes the 14 of Chavez, gets a piece of the wall right there. I'm not sure if he hit the 32 car, definitely got a piece of the wall. And we'll take a look here at what happened to the driver of the 12 car, Dustin Matney. He is, take one more look here, gets loose himself off of turn number 4. He slips sliding. He's going to make a little bit of contact with the inside wall, crush that front nose a little bit. I don't think it's anything too catastrophic. He's able to back up and pull away here. So we are back under caution with some cars headed down pit road. Maybe only a couple, as it looks like the number 4 of Esri will be on pit road, and then the 3 car, he decides to make a late entrance into pit road, and that is going to stack them up on the entrance of pit road, as Greg Robinson, Mr. Indecisive back there, doesn't know if he was coming to pit road or not, but he does make it on pit road just barely. Made a little bit of contact, I believe, with the car coming in behind him, though, so they are going to get these cars up in the air. You can see the right side off the ground for the 15 and the 4. They're going to go back around to the left side. Yep, the car comes up on the left, and we're going to see some guys come off of pit road here. Dave Hara going to win the battle off of pit road, but with all the cars that didn't pit, that's going to put him in 9th spot. So they will have him work. Dave Hare will have some work to do. So will Esri, Steinhoff, and Davis all on pit road. Chavez, Tyrone Yo, Cyrus, Nelson, Tyler Nelson, Wayne Scott Matney, Greg Barnett, James Bowden, Tommy Osborne, and Michael Boisvert all come down to pit road that time, as we will work here under caution. Up front, though, the new race leader will be the number 6 of Rodney Uber-Packer. Obviously came down pit road on the first caution there at lap number 14. Got a fresh set of Goodyear tires as well as a full tank of racing fuel. So he will now go to the front of this one, be the 3rd different leader on the afternoon, as it's been 31 laps led for Esri, 1 for Dave Hara, and now 2 so far on the race for the Uber-Packer number 6 right there, that beautiful purple and white machine. Goat Racing diecast number 6 Ford Mustang will start on the bottom of row 1. Outside him will be Officer Lerfano in the number 8. Row 2 will be Ken Peck and Mike Herdzlek. We'll take a look a little further back at row number 3. Looks like it's going to be the Nelson 75. Outside him will be the Zulu's 98. Then you have Austin Johnston on the outside. Stephen McGaw on the inside. Dave Hare there will be the next car in line. Outside him will be the Gregory Robinson number 3. Then you have the Esri 4 and the Steinhoff 74 back there. Chavez, and looks like it's going to be Andrew Davis on the inside of that row. You got the Cyrus 05 also back there. Bowden and Wayne Scott in the 10 also back there also as well. Up front, though, Uber-Packer, the control car. They roll through turn 3 and 4. They will come into the Geico restart zone, and they will look for the green flag this time out of turn 4 as the pace car heads to the safety of the infield. 35 laps complete. Green flag is back in the air, and we are racing again for Homestead Miami Speedway. Field goes rip-roaring and snoring down into turn number 1. Out onto the back straightaway, they go, being led by that 6 at Uber-Packer, Lerfano's 8, Courage like Ken Pack, James Nelson, your top 5. But as I say that, Zulu looks to get by the Nelson machine on the inside through turns 3 and 4. They're door-to-door off of turn 4 and headed for the stripe. Up front, Uber-Packer and Lerfano continue to lead this field here. We'll keep an eye a little further back on the 15 of Hare, the 4 of Esri, Steinhoff's 74 also on fresh Goodyear tires this time. Going to see if they can work back to the front here with about under 20 laps to go in the stage, but lots of time still to get there as they work their way now, looking to make a move on the inside of Austin Johnston down into turn number 3 and 4. Hare will go right to the bottom. Zulu still working on the back bump of the 75 this time through 3 and 4. Hasn't been able to get around him yet, but they've got company coming in the form of Hera and Esri this time. Now Esri right up in line behind the 77 as Hera will use the bottom this time. Through turns 3 and 4, big group of 5 cars there, as not a good run there for the 15. He's going to lose a ton of ground on those cars he was trying to pass. That's going to jam up the 4 car right behind him though, so not able to gain any ground, but didn't lose any ground to the other cars with the new tires. So Hera will go back to the bottom inside Johnston off of turn number 4. He's got Zulu right in front of him as S3, whoa, the 77 gets way tight off of turn number 4, keeps it out of the wall, but almost back down into the side of Hera, able to avoid that contact where those guys, now Hera is in no man's land in the middle. He's going to get passed by Esri on the bottom. He'll lose a spot there and not be able to make a pass on the 98, so he's going to be put back in the spot he was after before they came down pit road with Esri in front of him. But these guys are still back in 6th and 8th position respectively through turns 3 and 4, so still a little bit of work to go as we have completed 38 laps here of Uberpack of Erfano, Kurdzlek, Ken Peck, James Nelson, your top 10. But as I say that, Esri looks to the inside of Nelson through 1 and 2 to make his way back into the top 5 here. Late in stage number 1, James might have caught a piece of the wall that time through 1 and 2 because he lost a couple of spots to Zulu, Hera, and maybe Steinhoff down the back straightaway. The battle though right there between Pack and Esri developing in front of them, as that's going to be one and done for Esri. He's now back up to 4th. He's going to look to move in on the back of the Kurdzlek number 41, while Dave Hera will now go to battle with the 16 down the front straightaway. Zulu not giving up. He's going to power back on the outside. Hera on the bottom, Ken Peck on the wall as they work their way through 1 and 2. Now Esri made easy work of the 41 of Kurdzlek, looking to do the same to the 8 of Lerfano, this time down the back straightaway. It's going to put Lerfano out on the outside groove as Esri and both Kurdzlek look to go to the inside. That's the battle for 3rd as Esri's cleared him. He's up into, 2nd for Esri, 3rd for Lerfano, 4th for Kurdzlek, 5th is that 15 car, Dave Hera. Back down the front straightaway, Lerfano able to fend off the 41 so far at this point. 41 complete here down into turns 1 and 2. Keep an eye on this battle developing, as we know that some of these cars have fresher tires on them than the others. That being the 15 of Hare, the 4 Esri, who's now in hunter mode here as he looks to track down the driver of the number 6 Rodney Uberpacker, who's opened up now about a 1.2 second lead over Esri. Here off of turn number 4 comes the driver of that number 6 out of Eugene, Oregon. As you can see right there on your screen, the Uberpacker number 6 headed back down turns 1 and 2 right around the rail for him. Out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway comes the Uberpacker machine. A little further back, Lerfano and Kurdzlek have still managed to hold off Hera's number 15. Zulu still in the middle of this battle, trying to crack that top 5 here on lap number 43 of stage 1. Work their way back out of the turn. Now Hera will clear Kurdzlek. He'll go on to work on the back bumper of his number 8 teammate. Ride on board the spoiler cam of Dave Hera as he looks to the inside. He's going to clear Lerfano off of turn 2. As we look back at the field, cycling down the back straightaway, Zulu's got to run on the inside of Kurdzlek down into turn number 3 and 4. Lerfano's going to come to the bottom with the driver of the 15 as Kurdzlek will be on the outside, and Zulu's going to force him up a little bit. That 98 car pushing there through the corner. Steinhoff, another car on fresh tires, still trying to charge through the back half of the top 10. He's currently sitting in the 7th position at this point. We'll take a look here at Steinhoff on camera. There he works his way off of turn number 3 and 1 and 2 down to the back straightaway. Got a car slow on the inside. That looks to be the Barnett 38 rejoining the field after bringing it down to the attention of his pit crew for an extended repair there. He's back on track as Steinhoff will use that top side, shuffle himself around the Kurdzlek 41, this time off of turn number 4. Down the front straightaway they go. Still the battle is on between Lerfano, Zulu, Steinhoff right there. Then you got Davis and the 33 and Kurdzlek in the 41 right there behind them as the 98 Betyars machine able to clear maybe Lerfano down into turn number 3 and 4. He's going to get a shove though from the 74. Up front looks like we have a new leader. Chris Essery back in control of this one, back around the driver of the number 6 machine. See how he got that pass done right here on the replay. Well, looks like Uberpacker unfortunately got a piece of the wall, definitely slowed him down, opened the door for Essery to go in on the inside underneath. clears him down the back straightaway, moving Esri back to the lead here on lap number 46. 46 complete, about 10 to go here in the stage. Continue to work here under green flag for this one, as we are seeing 47 laps complete. The rundown of the top 20 on the left-hand side of the screen as Nagy and Zulu and Steinhoff go to battle down the back straightaway. They do there into turn number 3 and 4. That is the battle on track for 4th and 5th, currently being held by the 98 of Zulu off of turn 4. They go back down the front straightaway. This time battling on the exit of turn number 2, hit the back straightaway. Steinhoff will slide up in line behind him as they work their way down to turns 3 and 4. It's going to be S3. Dave Hara now up into second. Looks like he was able to get around the Uber Packer machine. As I say that, they're still battling hard down the front straightaway. Is the driver of the 15 and the 6. Uber Packer uses the top. Hara down on the bottom. Uber Packer again catches a piece of that wall on corner entry, as he will now heed that position to the driver of the 15 there, although they are 2 seconds behind the leader Esri here as we look to complete. It'll be lap 50 this time at the line for the field. A little further back here as Chavez and Lofano on screen looking to duel that out, as now Lofano going the wrong way here at the end of the stage. One of the cars that did not come down pit road on that second caution flag of the afternoon. The only car managing to hold on here up front that hasn't pitted there on lap 33 is that Uber Packer 16, as he came down pit road on lap number 15 and hasn't been back since. So you can see the different pit stop strategies developing. I'm assuming some of those drivers there with the second yellow bar, that's Esri, Hara, Steinhoff, Davis, and Chavez, all came down and took tires and fuel on the second caution of the afternoon. So they will continue to work here under green flag in this one. Turns 3 and 4. Esri already leading this one by 2.5 seconds here at the end of stage number 1. Looking to go back to back on Thursday and Friday SimWorld Racing Network broadcasts, as he picked up the win in dominating fashion last night in the All-American Racing League. Collect maximum points, as I mentioned off the top of the broadcast. Won both stage 1 and stage 2. Won the race, as well as was the quick time, picking up the 1 bonus point for that feature event. So continue here under green, working our way to the end of the stage. 53 laps complete at the line. 3 laps to go before the end of stage number 1. It's still Esri out front, Dave Hara behind him. Then you see Rodney Uber Packer in third. We take a look a little further back to the Steinhoff 74. Inside him will be Andrew Davis, up 10 spots from his 15th position that he started, running in the 5th spot. Zulu running in 6th, right where he started. Kurzlek, another driver, up in on his start, but he's running at 4 positions from his 11th position. 3 now from as Chavez gets by him. The 14 car up 11 from his 18th starting position. So a couple of big movers here early in this one. Andrew Davis plus 10, Chavez plus 11. As we work here, number 54 complete, working on 55, 54 complete. So should see the end of the stage here in just a couple of laps as the field works its way down the back straightaway. Up front though, it's Esri with a 3-second lead here at the end of stage number 1 and pulling away as the laps dwindle down. Should see the caution flag, I believe, next time around, and that'll be the end of stage 1. But Esri has been a dominating factor, leading the way here so far this afternoon. As right now, Andrew Davis and Philip Chavez continue to battle here for mid top 10 position. That is 5th and 6th on your screen with Steinhoff there in front of them. The white, green, and black car, that is the 4th place running Steinhoff. 5th to the 33 of Davis. 6th Chavez. 8th right now is, 7th is Zulu. On track 8th is the Kurgelek, number 41. Sitting in 9th is Dave Lafano, and looking to pick up the final points paying position in the stage. That is the 16 of Ken Pack. As I say that, the yellow flag is displayed at the completion of lap number 56, and the stage win goes to the driver of the number 4 machine. That is Chris Essery out of Bakersfield, California, collecting the 1 playoff bonus point and the 10 championship points here as he works his way back off of turn number 4, looking to collect the pace car down as they head down towards turns 1 and 2. Pit stops, the name of the game here, under caution at the end of stage number 1. We'll give you the rundown. Essery, Hera, Uberpacker, Steinhoff, and Davis, your top 5. Philip Chavez, Zulu, Kurgelek, Fano, and Ken Peck will round out the top 10. Austin Johnston, Dustin Matney, James Nelson, Clayton Cyrus, and Steve McGaw in the 11th through 15th area. Tommy Osborne, Kirby Wainscott, Tyler Sivert, Greg Robinson, and James Bowden through 20th. Tyrone Yo, Tyler Nelson is 21st and 22nd. Michael Boisvert, the one and only car, 1 lap down, running in 23rd. Then Greg Barnett, 11 laps down after a lengthy stay on pit road. But as the field rolls out of turn 4, looks like we are headed to pit road, and they are going to bring everyone down with them. So we will step aside for a quick second here while pit stops develop. We'll be back on the other side with the restart order, and looking to go back green here from Homestead Miami Speedway. This is the SimWorld Racing Network's presentation of the Firefighter 280 and the Quick Finishers Racing League. Welcome back to the SimWorld Racing Network's presentation of the Quick Finishers Racing League, the Firefighter 280 here on Friday, March 21st, just about 10 minutes to 9 Eastern Standard Time. Chris Essery looks like he has won the race off of pit road. The field will double up as we head down the back straight behind the iracing pace car. 1 to go signal given. Last time at the line, it's going to be Essery, Uberpacker on the front row, Steinhoff and Dave Hera in row number 2. And you got, looks like it's Zulu and Kurgelek in row number 3. Row 4, Fano and Ken Pack. Row 5 of Clayton Cyrus and Dustin Matney. And then you have the 75, that's James Nelson on the inside. Outside him looks to be the 3 of Robinson, maybe? Not very tight here as the field is kind of weaving and wobbling all over the place, but nonetheless we head down through turns 3 and 4, pace car to the safety of the infield. We get set to go back racing on lap number 60 here from Homestead. Green is out and we are back racing. Essery, a big jump on the inside. He's going to easily be able to clear the Uberpacker 6 down into turn 1, but Uberpacker able to clear Hera in the 15 and drop down to that bottom lane through turns 1 and 2. 2 by 2 behind them, though, as the top 3 single file off of turn number 4 make that the top 4. Battles on for 5th now as Kurdzlek and Zulu go at it on the entry of turn number 3 and 4. Ken Pack right there in that battle, looking to make it 3 wide through the corner as they go 3 wide off of turn number 4. Ken Pack on the top, Kurdzlek the meat and the sandwich, and Zulu on the bottom. Down the front straightaway they go. Still it's 3 wide this time as they head to turns 1 and 2. Uber Packer now gets to the inside of Hera. It looks like a little further up. He's able to get into second. Hera's going to be on the top side in his unpreferred line through 1 and 2. He's able to get that car righted and headed back down the back straightaway as the battle continues a little further back here. Zulu able to clear the kind of cluster of a mess there, running in the 6th position, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, all under a blanket right there. You have Kurdzlek's 12. Ooh, Matney gets way loose off of 4. He's going to lose it and spin out down to the infield. Caution is going to come out. Everyone able to avoid the Matney 12 that time, but the caution on the afternoon, third caution on the afternoon, that is going to come back out as we will take another look here at Dustin Matney getting loose off of turn 4 and avoiding everybody. You can see him cuts back down through the field and slides all the way down the front straightaway. So no harm, no foul. Doesn't hit anyone. Now looks like he's got another issue there. We'll see. As he might have spun out again, getting back up to speed here. Yeah, he did. As he hit the wall. Ooh, he's going to get into the wall this time. So not the best half a lap for the Matney number 12 machine, but he is headed back to try to catch the tail end of the field that's already coming back through turns 1 and 2. So third caution, like I mentioned, of the afternoon here in this one on lap number 64. Sorry, fourth caution of the afternoon. Esri continues to lead. Same story, different verse as Esri, Hera, Uber Packer, your top 3. Steinhoff and Pack round out the top 5. You got Zulu, Kurdzlek, Lerfano, James Nelson, and Austin Johnston in 9th and 10th. Robinson, Magoo, Clayton Cyrus, Tyrone Yo, Tyler Seivert, Tyler Nelson, Tommy Osborne, Andrew Davis back there in the 18th position. James Bowden, Kirby Wayne Scott, your top 20. Dustin Matney also out there. He joins the tail end of the field. Looks like Philip Chavez and Michael Boisvert are both 1 lap down at this time. Looks like though Chavez making his way to the top side down the front straight. Looks like he will get the wave around this time. Obviously no one down, a few cars actually, I say that, head down pit road to the attention of their pit crews. Hasn't been long since we've gone back green, but a good amount of cars heading down pit road. Maybe topping up that Sunoco Racing Field to see if they can make it a little further here to the end of the stage. As they will now shuffle off of turn number 2 on the access road. Will join the field at the tail end out of turn number 2, but the leader is Esri Hera outside him on this restart as they work their way back down the back straightaway. Field gets the 1 to go signal. That time at the line, they will double it up, heading down into turns 1 and 2. As I mentioned, it's going to be Esri and Hera on that front row. Uber, Packer, and Steinhoff in row 2. Ken Pack and Zulu in row number 3. And you got, let's see here, the 77 of Johnston out inside. No, that looks like it's going to be Kurdzlek and Nelson, then Johnston and Robinson, then Tyler Nelson there, and then looks like it's going to be the 33 of Davis in that next row. These guys aren't very organized down the back straight. It makes it a little harder to give you the lineup, but right now that's what it looks like as they continue to work here under caution. But as they head into turn number 3, going to come back around for the green flag. Going to be 66 laps complete, 121 to go. 187 is the total distance here this afternoon from Homestead Miami Speedway. Double check that steering wheel's on there. Pull them belts a little bit tighter as we get set to go back racing here on lap 67. Pace car to the safety of the infield. S3, the control car. He will get into the Geico restart zone right now. Green flag is back out and we are back racing down the front straightaway, stumbling, bumbling, and rumbling to turn number 1. S3 clears Hera. Hera will drop down to the bottom, take the air off the nose of the 6 car that time. Into turns 1 and 2 they go. Steinhoff trying to pinch that 6 car down there for 3rd position, not give him any room to run up a little higher off corner exit. Now packed inside Zulu for that's 5th and 6th there on your screen. So the battle is still developing here between Steinhoff and Uber Packer, who catches a piece of the wall that time through 3 and 4. It's going to potentially cost them 2 spots, maybe 3. See if Zulu's able to squeak by on the bottom. Not quite yet, though, as they are door-to-door into turns 1 and 2. There's Kurdzak and James Nelson on the back half of the top 10, running in 7th and 8th. Austin Johnson, Gregory Brandon, Robinson, 9 and 10. Again, down the back straightaway they go. S3, Hera, Ken Peck, Steinhoff, Uber Pack, Kurdzak, and Zulu now dropping back a couple spots as he is falling into the jaws of the number 75 James Nelson machine, this time off of turn number 4. 2 wide in front of him. Between that is the Uber Packer 6, the Steinhoff 64. That's the battle for 4th and 5th down into turn number 1 and 2. Kurdzak right there on the bottom 2, looking to get to the inside of Steinhoff. Nowhere for Zulu to go as they got Steinhoff's got the top road jammed up this time on the exit of turn 2. He's going to lose a couple spots on that lap to Uber Packer and Kurdzak, and the other 2 cars are nose to tail behind him as they head down into turn 3 and 4. Maybe a little bump from the 98 on corner exit. Doesn't upset the 74 too much as he's continuing to work that top side off of turn number 4. Up front, S3 leads Hera. Ken Peck and now Uber Packer looking to the inside of the Ken Peck 16 down into turns 1 and 2. Great shot through 1 and 2 on the exit of 2 here using the Blues Race Design cam. We'll jump on board the roof cam on top of the Kurdzak 41 as we watch this battle develop here between Uber Packer and Ken Peck down into turn 1 and 2. Sorry, this is the 3 and 4 end of the racetrack. They work their way around the bottom, holding on that white line as they continue single file right through the top 5. Behind him, Zulu and Steinhoff and Nelson go to the battle. They're almost 3 wide through the corner. See if they get it sorted out by the corner exit. Nope, still 3 wide. Steinhoff will slip in line behind the 75 down the back straightaway. Zulu's going to get a strong run and see if he can get by both of them into turn 3. Nelson will drive it in deep on the bottom. No, he'll regain door-to-door positioning with the 98. This time off of turn 4 they come. Back down to the line, 71 laps complete here, working lap number 72. 116 still to go. There's the Fano rearing back into the battle after coming down pit lane on that last caution to top up the tank with fuel. The battle is on down the back straightaway though, as now we got company up front as Uber Packer, Esri, and Hera go 3 wide down into turn number 3 and 4. Esri thinks better of it, and he's going to drop out and let the 6 and the 15 battle this one out right in front of him on the exit of turn number 4. Looks like it's going to be Hera at the line as he clears Uber Packer down into turn 1. He's going to drift down to the bottom line. Again, take the air off the nose of the 6, who's got company in the form of the 4 right there on his back bumper. It's going to be Hera, Uber Packer, and Esri this time. 1, 2, 3 off of turn 2. As I say that, Esri gets a huge run down the back straight, and we got a battle for 4th and 5th also developing. Ken Peck has to get on the binder. He's got nowhere to go as excuse me, the Uber Packer machine right in front of him. Now he's going to try to drop down to the bottom, get a run on exit underneath Uber Packer, but he can't go there because that's got that hole's filled by the Kurdzak 41. Esri still holds on the 3rd. They're 2 by 2 behind him though. Looking to go both 3 wide, maybe this time 3, 1 and 2. Not going to happen though, as Uber Packer now will power back around the top side. Gets a huge run off of the cushion down there past the 41. Looks to go to the outside of the 4 as they hit the 3/4 mark of the back straightaway. Uber Packer back to the top with the 41 on the bottom of Kurdzak. Esri there in 2nd. This all battling happening for 3rd, 4th, and 5th between the 6, 41, and 16, while Dave Hera out front in that number 15 leads his 4th lap of the afternoon. There you can see the driver, the number 15, Dave Harrow, works his way down the front, or sorry, the back straightaway, right on board the Gamer Tube Elite spoiler cam. As we look back at the back half, or the the middle part of the top 10 there. Esri second, Uber Packer and Kurdzlek still battling it out for third. Ken Pack back there currently sitting in the 5th spot, hoping for a mistake out of either of those drivers and looking to capitalize. Then you got Zulu, James Nelson, Greg Robinson back there in that orange and white machine at the top of the screen. And he has got Dave Rafano there also. Officer Rafano running just inside the top 10. Currently sitting in 9th with Austin Johnston, the last car in the top 10, in his number 77. Battle still going on between Kurdzlek and Steinhoff, this time off of turn 4. Now they get it sorted out and single file their way down the front straightaway. Uber Packer in 3rd. Kurdzlek in 4th. Ken Pack in 5th there. Zoltan Zulu, as he goes by here in the Quick Finishers Racing League in the 98, gets a strong run again down the back straight. He's going to look to the inside of the 16 this time, down into 3 and 4. Could lose a little bit of ground through the middle part of the corner, but see if he can get a run on the exit. As Ken Pack, the only car running that top line that time through the corner, able to get back around Zulu and go back to work on the back bumper of the 4, but a car and a half length distance to the front of the 16 is that 41 cars. They kind of work the same line through turns 1 and 2, neither on the top nor the bottom. Right through the middle they go down the back straightaway. Keep an eye on the leader. That is the 15 machine, Dave Herrig, being chased by the number 4 car, Chris Esri and Roddy Uber Packer in the 6 there, also in the mix here. As we get to almost the middle part of stage number 2, be 78 laps complete at the line, 109 to go. Harris still leads here this one over the Esri number 4 as they work their way through and off of turn number 2. Stretched out here around the 1.5 mile Homestead Miami Speedway. Robinson grabs a piece of the wall that time through turns 3 and 4, able to continue that reasonable spot, but up front here continues to toe the line down into turn 1 and 2. Esri pushing hard right up against the back bumper of the driver of the number 15. That's going to force Hare to kind of take a middle groove through 3 and 4 as Esri will go to the bottom. Not able to pull quite side by side with the driver of the 15 yet. This time though off of turn number 4. It's going to be right there at the left rear quarter panel as they head down to turn number 1 and 2. Is going to put Hillbilly again on the top side. Esri right down on the bottom. Esri looking to make that move back to the top of the scoring pylon through 1 and 2. Not clear. Oh, he is clear. He clears up in front of the 15. Put Esri back to the lead here on lap number 84 as they work through turns 3 and 4. Now Uber Packer and Kurdzlek, the battle right behind the Hera 15 on track. Continue to work here under green on lap 87. Esri continues to lead as he did early in this one, out front in that number 4 machine. Dave Harris sitting in second there in the 15. Kurdzlek holding on to third. And then Uber Packer right there in fourth. Ken Peck one further behind in that number 16 car. James Nelson will bring that 75, currently sitting in the 6th position. Then Zulu in his 98 machine there, working off the top side of turn number 4. Back down onto the start first line outside of the 8 car, running in 8th. That is Dave Lofano. Got a pole in Maine. He heads down to turns 1 and 2, looking to the inside of the Zulu 98. Right behind them, running in 9th, that's the Austin Johnston, number 77. Catches a piece of the wall in that Bass Pro Shops Tracker, ATV, and Boats Chevrolet Camaro. He is in front of the number 3 U.S. Coast Guard Camaro. That is Gregory Robinson out of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. Running just outside the top 10 in that 33 body armor Chevrolet Camaro, that is Andrew Davis. Right behind him, Ryan Steinhoff, running up front earlier, but has slipped back into the 12th position here, as it looks like pit road is going to start to get busy as some of these drivers headed down pit road for a stop here on lap number 90. That's Lofano and Robinson both on pit road at this time. See them coming down to the attention of their pit crews. Up front, though, Esri continues to lead the way over Dave Hara and Kurdzlek. We'll see if this is going to start the sequence of pit stops for everybody, as we will keep an eye on the cars who should be heading down pit road. Now, as we get to the back half of the pit cycle, or the fuel run, here in stage number 2. Zulu now on pit road. He is the 3rd car to come to the attention of his pit crew. Lofano, Robinson both back underway and back on track here in this one. Esri continues to stay on track and lead this one here on lap number 92, 91 in the books, getting closer to the halfway point as we are 92 complete, 95 to go. So just a couple of laps from making it to the halfway point of this one. Again, looking to get to the end of the stage here. That will come at lap number 116. So 116 will be the end of stage number 2. As we continue to work under green flag here in the second stage. Again, thanks to those tuning in on the SimWorld Racing Network. You're watching the Quick Finishers Racing League presents, English is hard sometimes, the Firefighter 280 in honor of all the men and women battling the wildfires down in southern Florida, just around the Homestead, Dade County area. So we will send a shout out to all those dedicated employees of the fire departments down there in Florida battling off the wildflowers here as we continue under green. Continues to be S3, Hera, Kurds like Ken Pack, Rodney, Uberpacker. But by the looks of it, everyone will still have to, most of these drivers up front will still have to come down pit road here to get to the end of this stage. Again, looking for the completion of lap 116 as we work lap 94 complete, 93 to go. So past the halfway point here from Homestead. It's for the most part been Chris Essery. He's led 69 of the 94 laps so far. He's had 2 other leaders on the afternoon. Dave Harris led for 13 and Ronnie Uberpacker has led 12 here. But it's been mostly Chris Essery out front in this one, as I mentioned, 69 laps, make it 70 of the 95 completes for the Essery number 4, picking up essentially where he left off last night as he won in dominating fashion in the All-American Racing League last night. He won stage 1, won stage 2, picked up the fastest lap of the race as well as the win. So well on his way to doing that, because right now he also has the fastest lap on the afternoon here as we hit the halfway point, like I mentioned. 32.919, the fastest lap so far for Essery this afternoon as he works back across the line, completing lap 96. So won stage 1, well on his way to winning stage 2 here in about 20 or so laps from now, and looking good to win this one come the end of the afternoon. So Essery continues to be the story here at Homestead, as everyone, I'm sure, will be happy to get out of this place and not have to deal with Essery at Homestead again this season. Looking ahead on the calendar for the 2025 season, we head to Martinsville next week. As I say that, we see some more cars on pit road. That is the leader. Chris Essery drops down onto pit road. He will bring the number 4 machine to the attention of the pit crew. That's going to turn the lead over to the 15 driver. That is Dave Hera, as he continues to work now the lead position. Right behind him is Kurdzlek and Ken Pack again. Still yet to pit, those drivers are, as Essery now on pit road, bringing his car down for his stop in stage number 2. We'll see how it all cycles back out and who is trying to push the limits. Hera gets a little bit loose off of turn number 4. See if that'll give any run to the 41. Not able to capitalize quite yet, though, as they work their way back through turns 1 and 2. It continues to be Hera there, and I believe Essery now just entering back off of the access road. He will join back in behind the Ken Pack 16, obviously 1 lap down of the field, but in position to catapult himself back to the lead once the pit stop cycle out for the rest of the field. As we continue here under green, looking to come down to complete lap number 99, this time at the line. As a couple more cars hit pit road. That's Ken Pack in the 4th position there on the left, and the J with the period, that is James Nelson. He is on pit road, also completing his required stop here in stage 2, because if not, they won't make it to the end. So it's not mandatory, but it's highly suggested that you do if you want to make it to the end of stage 2, and they are on pit road now, getting those cars serviced. As Dave Hare continues to lead here out of turn number 4 down to the stripe, he will click off lap 100 on the afternoon, 87 to go and 16 more in the stage. 150 of the 280 miles complete here from Homestead, Miami. As you can see, the top 3 cars there on your screen. Sorry, just the top 2. That's Dave Hare and Kurdzlek. Zulu right there on screen in that 98. He is currently 1 lap down. He's actually battling that 4 car of Essery to be the first car or to get back on the lead lap here. If they are able to get around Hera this time down into turns 1 and 2, they will propel themselves back onto the lead lap here in stage number 2. So Hera again working down through turns 1 and 2 end of the track. Zulute is outside, will clear him and get his lap back. Now Esri looking to do the same to the inside down the back straightaway. Looks like Tyrone Mill and Tyler Nelson are on pit road. Nelson is done and back onto the way to the track. He's pit stop completed in about 16.3 seconds as Tyrone still coming down pit road to the attention of his pit crew at this time. There comes Kurgelek. He will drop down to pit road out of the second position, leaving Hera and Uber Packer out there yet to pit. Also not pitted is the Austin Johnston, number 77. He'll move up to third. The Steinhoff 74, who was on pit road at lap 58. And it looks to be Kirby Wainscott, last on pit road on 65. Clayton Cyrus, Tommy Osborne, and James Bowden now are the top 8, and this one all have been down pit road a little bit later as they were on pit road at 64. Same thing with Tyler Seibert. He was on pit road at lap 64. So right now, as things cycle themselves out, looks like the first car who's completed the pit stop as it will be the Zulu number 98. But as I say that, he's got company in the form of Chris Esri down the back straightaway. This could potentially turn into the battle for the lead once all the rest of the cars come down pit road. They work their way through turns 3 and 4. It's going to be Dave Hara, though, continuing to lead the way here as the event leader, as he will bypass the pit entrance one more time as work his way down the front straightaway. Rodney Uber-Packer currently sits in second right there, and then Austin Johnston, who is headed towards pit road. He is going to get a fresh set of tires and a full tank of fuel this time out of turn number 4. Take a look here at the pit strategy. So it's been 46 laps for both Hera and Uber Packer since they've been on pit road. Then Wayne Scott, 39 since he's been down. Cyrus, Osborne, Bowden, all been about 40 laps since they've been down. Then Steinhoff and Johnston, who is working his way down pit road, as you see him fall off the bottom of the list there. Dave Hara, though, continues to work here. 47 laps on this set of tires and tank of fuel should see him on pit road in just a matter of a few laps, I would think. Here comes his teammate, though. That is the 8 of Dave Rafano, trying to close the door and get back on the lead lap, back around the 15 of Hillbilly in this one. Here comes Hara. He will head to pit road. He is going to... I don't know if he got it slowed down in time. We'll have to see. Nope. Dave Hara will probably get a speeding penalty on his entrance to pit road. He's going to bring Uber Packer down to pit road with him. But the big story of this cycle of pit stops will be the penalty for the number 15, as he's got the little black flag beside him, as he was definitely too fast entering pit lane. It's going to cost him about, I believe, roughly 40 seconds, I think, is the penalty for speeding on pit road. So Dave Hara, too fast on pit road. The officer gets pulled over by timing and scoring. So we'll see how he makes out. You can see him sitting on pit road, continuing to serve his penalty, as that will be a big damper on the efforts of the driver of the number 15 machine. You can both see Boisvert there leaving pit road. New race leader is that 10 car. That is Kirby Wainscott in that number 10 machine. Kirby is out of Sparta, Kentucky, as he works his way through turns 1 and 2 in that number 10 machine. On the back straightaway, he's got about a, 8/10 of a second lead over Clayton Cyrus in that number 05, the Haviland machine right there, and then James Bowden in the 53 running in third. And then back behind them in fourth is the Esri number 4. Obviously, Esri has already been to pit road. We saw him complete his pit stop, so he is in position to catapult himself back into the lead if these other drivers come down pit road. As I mentioned, we'll take another look here at the pit strategy board. You can see it's been 44 laps for them since they were last on pit road. I think the 15 car stayed out about 48 laps, so these guys have about 4, 5, 6 laps of fuel left before they possibly will have to come down pit road. But right now they are holding their own out there, as The 10 of Wayne Scott continues to lead. He's the 4th leader on the afternoon here. Led 3 laps so far. Last on pit road 44 laps ago, like I mentioned. So see if he is able to make it to the end of the stage. Not sure how far everyone is able to go on a full tank of fuel, but we'll see here as he works his way through turns 3 and 4 back down to the line to complete lap 110 in the books. Six laps to go before the end of the stage, so quite a ways to go before he's able to get the stage victory. See if he's got enough fuel to do it, as everyone else behind him though has come to pit road as Clayton Cyrus makes his pit stop. So did the 53 of Bowden onto pit road, completing his stop. So the only car left to stop, 2 cars actually left to stop, and this one being the Wayne Scott 10, as he will come down to pit road. So he is going to turn the lead back over to the Essery number 4, who leads over Zulu by 5 seconds. The gap back to Zulu right there, the 98 car. We got 5 laps to go in the stage this time through turns 1 and 2. Zulu dealing with the number 2 machine. That's the Harley Davidson University of Pittsburgh Medical Center number 2 Camaro of Tyrone Hill. Zulu's going to look to go to the inside down the back straightaway. Sitting in 3rd now after the pit stop cycle, that is Dave Lorfano in the number 8, the other police officer. Officer Lorfano in the field. He didn't get caught speeding. He's a good cop. Dave Hara, unfortunately, right now sitting 1 lap down after being caught on pit road, speeding on the entry of pit road, trying to get as much as he could, getting into his pit stall, and he got caught right at the beginning, so couldn't get it woke up enough, and definitely got busted, so to speak, by the NASCAR police. So he will see if he's able to rebound here in the late stages of this race. Over 3 laps to go here in stage number 2, as Lorfano now looks to the inside of Zulu off of turn number 4, not quite able to get quite side by side, but down the front straight he's got a good run going on the bottom with a big shove coming from the 41 of Kurzlek. Both those cars looking to move past the the Zulu number 98. So is Ken Pack up into the 4th position for Pack move. Zulu back to 5th. Lorfano, he's going to lose a spot in the melee to the 41 of Kurzlek, and maybe another one to Ken Pack through 3 and 4. There's the 10 of Wayne Scott back on track after making a late stage pit stop, as we should have about 2 laps to go here in stage number 2. We continue to work under green. As I mentioned, it's been all Essery all the time here. Once he got the lead back, got back in front of this field, head down the back straightaway, has a 6-second lead over the 2nd place driver, Mike Kurzlek. Ken Pack in 3rd, Dave Lorfano, and Zulu in 5th. So all this time I've been pronouncing Zulu's last name wrong. He got on the Discord server today and provided me a nice little lesson in pronunciation of Hungarian names, and he writes Nagy, which is N-A-G-Y, is pronounced roughly like the English word nudge. The Y is not used. So I guess we'll go by Zulu. We'll continue to call him Zulu because that's the easiest, but he is Zoltan Nudge is the best way I can think of pronouncing it. Hopefully I am not upsetting him or his forefathers by mispronouncing his name. And he also gave me some correction on his brother from Hungarian, Rada, out there, not here this week, but driver that number 89 car. He tells me his name ends similar to the way Connor Zilich's name ends, so it's more pronounced Radovich. So hopefully we can get that sorted out, and as we see the caution displayed here for the end of stage number 2, again, Chris Essery will be the winner of stage number 2, picking up another 10 championship points as well as 1 playoff point, which will be very helpful once we get to the playoffs here at the end of the regular season. 2 for 2 on stage win, still maintaining the fastest lap, so has the maximum points he can, as he will gather the field up behind the iRacing pace car. They work down the back straightaway into turn 3 and 4. Pit road should open up this time for the field, so we're going to step away here momentarily as the field will come down pit road for pit stops. We'll be back on this side to reset the lineup and bring you the third and final stage from the Firefighter 280 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. You're watching the Quick Finishers Racing League on the SimWorld Racing Network. Welcome back to the SimWorld Racing Network. My name is Nathan Christensen here with the Quick Finishers Racing League presentation of the Firefighter 280 from Homestead Miami Speedway. We're just tuning in now. We're at the completion of stage number 2. Pit stops are complete, and we should see some cars. I believe some cars are going to be taking the wave around. As yeah, it looks like some cars will head by. Race leader on this restart will be the number 4 of Chris Essery. Outside him on the front will be Kurdzlak number 41, Ken Peck and Dave Lurfano in row number 2. Looks like we're going to have Zulu and Greg Robinson in row 3. Looks like it's going to be James Nelson and Uber Packer in row 4. Austin Johnston and Tyrone Yo. No, Austin Johnston and Andrew Davis will make up that next row. That is row 5. And it's going to be Tyler Nelson and I believe Philip Chavez should be in that next row. Then Clayton Cyrus in that 05 will be somewhere in the mix back there. But up front continues to be the number 4 machine of Chris Essery. The 41 of Kurdzlak be on the front row as we get set to go back racing here out of turn number 4. The big story there in stage number 2 was the green flag pit stops and the penalty to the driver of the number 15 car who's been running up front and leading laps here this afternoon. Dave Hara caught speeding on pit road, so he will have to he was ended up a lap down, so there's what, 3 cars 1 lap down. Tyrone Yo, Dustin Matney and Dave Hara, the 3 cars 1 lap down. Michael Boisvert down 2 laps at this point. And then we have Greg Barnett, who is 10 laps down, and Steve Magoo, who is 56 laps down after an incident earlier in this race. He's trying to get some repairs made on pit road. Looks like we have extended the caution 1 lap as the field's still trying to get itself sorted out under caution. I think we'll be coming back around to the green flag. So we'll take the green with 121 laps complete. It'll be 66 to go at the line. One thing we'll take a look at here is the pit strategy window. So there you can see everyone back on pit road, but 44 laps, 48 laps. We'll take a little look. Let's look a little further down this. Get this to work, gosh darn it. So bring up the entire field there on your screen. So let's see here. I'm looking for Dave Hara. He went 48 laps, Dave Hara went. So green flag is back in the air, and we are back racing here as Essery gets a big jump over the Kurdzlak number 41 down into turn number 1 and 2. Esri will go right back to the front of this one as he continues to lead here at the start of stage number 3. Down the back straightaway, battle for second is on. Ken Pack to the inside of the Kurdzlek 41, down into turn 3 and 4 with the 8 of Lafano. The only police officer up near the front now is the 8 of Lafano. Greg Robinson right there in the 3 also. You got the 75 of Nelson Zulu in the 98, and then the Uber Packer 6 right back there. He is currently sitting in 8th, a little further back to the back half of the top 10. Austin Johnston right there in the 77, caught a piece of the wall. Philip Chavez also on the lead lap there in 9th. Johnson in 10th. There's the 15. That's Dave Hare. He's battling up through the field. Looks to be the first car 1 lap down at this point. So should be in a position for a lucky dog if the caution comes back out. Hopefully that'll work out in his favor, as he has had a very strong car here the last 2 days between the All-American Racing League and tonight's QFRL race. Looks like Ryan Steinhoff on pit road. He might have collected himself a penalty at some point, as he has a black flag, and on pit road, getting that cleared is the driver of the 74. The 4 though continues to lead the way over Ken Pack, Kurdzlek, Lafano and Zulu, the top 5 here in this one. 124 laps complete this time at the line. It'll be 63 to go to the end of this one. That is a little further back. You got Uber Packer and the 3 of Robinson going at it, with the 77 of Johnston, the 75 also right there in the fray. That is James Nelson, as Johnston and Robinson now will go back and forth, flipping that position as Johnson moved him up to the 8th position. Robinson back to 9th, right in front of Philip Chavez in that 14 on the inside. And you got Andrew Davis in the 33 body armor Camaro looking to crack himself back into the top 10. Robinson will dive down to the bottom. Johnson gets loose. Oh no, the 15 of Hare and the 14 of Chavez get together, trying to avoid the spinning 77 car, and that is going to turn Hara's night from bad to worse as he makes hard contact with the inside wall. That back wheel is not even spinning. It's going to be terminal damage on the 15 car. Probably going to be the end of the night for the old Officer Hillbilly machine, as he will try to muscle his way down to the infield and out of the way of the field. So let's see if we can get a replay of that. What key is, we're going to watch the Johnson number 77. He's going to get loose off of the turn and just slide back up in front, and the 15 makes the hard left-hand turn to avoid the contact with the 77, but the 14 right there on the bottom, both of them get collected. Again, hard contact, back bumper blows off the 15 car and gets back on the 15 car, and Chavez able to pull away. It doesn't look like he has any terminal damage on that machine, but definitely Dave Hare getting the mechanical black flag. We'll take one more look at the replay here. You can see Johnson get the leader wobbles, and then the 15 just down across the nose of the 14 hits the inside wall. Hare does, and we'll take one last look at it, see if the 14 catches a piece of that wall also. He does. He kind of gets the back end into the wall a little bit, but able to drive away like I mentioned, so doesn't look too terminal for the driver of the 14. So we'll see if he's able to get that pit crew to work on that car and hammer out some dents and make sure everything is pointed north-south instead of east-west, as he is on pit road. That's a group of cars heading down pit road. The back half of the field on pit road right now, but up front it's S3. As you can see, that was Dustin Matney going around the top side of the field looking to get the free pass and get himself back on the lead lap, as we work under caution here. The 6th caution of the afternoon from Homestead. So glad everyone could tune in tonight from Homestead Miami Speedway, the SimWorld Racing Network's presentation of the Quick Finishers Racing League. The Firefighter 280 is on the air here just about 9:30 Eastern Time here in the SimWorld Racing Network studio. My name is Nathan Christensen, the voice of the SimWorld Racing Network. We'll be back on the air next Friday night here from Martinsville for a barn burner of an event. Always fun going to Martinsville, the paperclip track. Obviously going to see a lot of beating and banging on the track between drivers, and hopefully tempers will keep themselves calm, and we'll be able to have a good race for you on the air next week. And we will be on the air as usual about 10 minutes to 8, just in time to pick up qualifying from Martinsville next Friday night. And if you're interested, also, we'll be on the air at 20 after 8 next Thursday for at Martinsville, also, as the Quick Finishers Racing League make their first appearance at the Martinsville Speedway for the 2025 season. So be on the air again next week, Thursday night and Friday night from Martinsville. One race with the All-American Racing Leagues, the other race with the Quick Finishers Racing League. So keep an eye on the SimWorld Racing Network's Facebook page, and if you're not following us on Facebook, make sure you look up SWRN, SimWorld Racing Network, on Facebook. Give us a follow, give us a like, especially over on YouTube. Give us a follow, give us a like. Let us know that you're enjoying the coverage we put out here for you. Obviously, great to have the QFRL back on the SimWorld Racing Network airwaves, bringing you as many races as we can. Obviously, we'll be on the air, like I mentioned, next Friday. Then we'll take 3 weeks. We will not be broadcasting, one of those being an off week for Easter. So we will have the next race for you next weekend, Martinsville, and then we'll update you on the schedule on after that. But green flag is back out in the air. We are racing again. A big jump there for the Esri number 4 on the start. He's able to clear the outside car, Ken Pack, down into turn 1. Ken will hold on to second. Kurdzak, though, says, hey, I want second place. We're going to go to battle here out of turn number 2 as Ken Peck gets a little tight there in the middle of the corner. That's going to let Kurdzak get by him and head down the back straightaway into turn 3 and 4. It's going to be Esri, and then Kurdzak, Ken Peck, Dave Lerfano, Zulu in the mix. Here comes the 75 of Nelson, the 6 at Uber Packer. All the likely suspects going back at it here in the back half, middle part of the top 10. As now Nelson looks on the back bumper of the 8 car. He'll go to the top. Lerfano to the bottom through 1 and 2. Kurdzak, Ken Peck, Dave Lerfano, Zulu, the 4 cars on the bottom. This time through 1 and 2, you got the 75 of Nelson, the 6 purple and white car of Uber Packer, and then the 3 of Greg Robinson working that top side that time. See if they'll go to the same lines down in 3 and 4. Looks like they sure do as they work down the top side, hammering up against the wall here through 3 and 4 as they try to make their way back to the front of this one. Has a good run going on the back of Lerfano 8. He's not able to get to the inside, so he'll go back to the outside as we get here on lap 132 as we work our way down the back straightaway here in this one. Now Nelson will go to the inside. That's going to put Lerfano up in the outside groove. Hopefully he can keep it off the wall. It gets pretty tight through the center. He's going to push the nose, and that's going to open the door for the 75 to get a good run off the bottom. But as I say that, here comes Lerfano back to the top. A little bit of side drafting at the end of the front straightaway, but going to keep it side by side through 1 and 2 for the driver of the 75 and the 8 machine. Now Uber Packer going to try to slip up in there to make it 3 wide. Thinks better of that. He'll tuck in line behind the 8 cars. Nelson goes right down to the white line, down the back straightaway, and dives it down to the bottom. Lerfano will get a good run on entry. He's going to nose out in head of the 75, but the 75 rolling the bottom. He's going to pull it back even on the exit at turn number 4. Steinhoff hard into the inside wall for the driver of the 79. He is going to try not to spin it out, but he is not going to be very successful. It comes to a stop there on the racetrack. What's he going to do? He will get it refired and pull away here. So not a good night here for Steinhoff after collecting a penalty on the last caution. Had to come down and do a timed pit stop, or serve a time penalty under green flag, causing him to lose a lot of ground. Currently running back in the 20th position. 2 laps off the pace at this point. As we continue to work here under green, Esri up front, leading by 1.1 seconds over the 41 at Kurdzak. There's the view back to the rest of the top 10. Nelson and Uber Packer still going at it here. Late in this one, 135 complete at the line this time. It'll be 52 to go. across the line. Nelson will get the position away from Packer down into 1 and 2. They both go to the extreme top side. Lafano kind of running that middle to groove off the bottom, holding on to that. What's that? The 4th position. Nelson 5th. Packer 6th. Zulu and Robinson 7th and 8th. Davis and it looks like Tyler Nelson will round out the top 10 here in this one. Right their way through turn 3 and 4 continues to be Esri leading the Courage Elect number 41 there. Down across the stripes they go. Chavez must have served his penalty. He did have a black flag. Not exactly sure what it was for, but he is back out on track now. Let's see if we can see what happened to the Chavez machine. Oh, he might have got a speeding penalty himself. Had to come back down and serve it. So Chavez has come down and served his black flag and has back onto the racetrack. He is currently in now the 20th position, 3 laps off the pace. Running behind Steinhoff is number 74, who's moved up to the 19th now. Tyrone Yule, the only car on track, 1 lap down, so currently sitting in a lucky dog position, hoping for a yellow here as we get to the final 50 laps from Homestead Miami Speedway. Esri out front of this one is continuing his dominating fashion. Mr. Homestead will start calling him here if he continues to whoop on him this bad. Everyone, I think, will be happy to get to Martinsville because Esri won't be running around Homestead anymore, but they work on battling it out here. It's still Packer and Nelson battling for that 5th and final spot in the top 5 down into turn 1 and 2. Packer on the top, Nelson on the bottom. 6 car catches a piece of the wall that time through 1 and 2. Is still going to keep up with the 75 as they go side by side down the back straightaway. Advantage to the 6 car though at corner entry. So now the 98 Zulu up into the mix. He's going to be on the outside of the Nelson 75 as they work through turns 3 and 4 back down to the stripe. Packer now clear of that battle, but the 98 looking to go around the top side of the 75 that time down the front straightaway. He's going to nose him out at the line, but Nelson will drive him in deep on the bottom and go back for that 6th position now. That's the battle for 6th and 7th as Packer holds on to the 5th place spot down the back straightaway. He's got his target set on the number 8 machine of Dave Lafano as we ride on board the Gamer Tube Elite spoiler cam, looking back into the eyes of Packer and Zulu there on the top. Right behind them is Nelson, Greg Robinson, Andrew Davis, and the other Nelson, Tyler Nelson, holding on to the top 10 right there. The 10th position for Tyler Nelson. Great run going for that youngster out of Harper Ferries, West Virginia, the driver of that number 85. Son to league owner James Nelson, so great run going for both the Nelsons tonight. Obviously great to have everyone in the field. Started the afternoon with, let's see here, 24 cars took the green flag tonight, so great turnout again for round 6 of the Quick Finishers Racing League. We continue to ride on board the number 8 machine of Dave Lafano down through turns 1 and 2 end of the Speedway. Packer looking to go to his outside, not able to make that ground up as he'll slot in behind him down the back straightaway. Here as we work 142, 46 to go, so under 50 laps to go here. Everyone will still have to make a pit stop here before the end of this one as they need to fill that fuel tank back up. Up front, though, continues to be the 4 car, the Mobile 1 machine. That is Chris Esri out of Bakersfield, California, leading the way here. He's got his lap lead total up to 103 so far. So only 4 different leaders on the afternoon. Rodney Packer has led 12 laps. Kirby Wainscott and Dave Hara, both out of this race prematurely, have also laps led for Wainscott, 23 for Dave Hare. So there you see the gap back to the driver in the 41 there. That is Mike Kurdzlek holding on to 2nd spot. So he works his way down the back straightaway now. Right in front of Ken Pack, Dave Lafano and Zulu now able to get around the Packer 6 as he will move Zulu into the top 5. Packer back outside of it to 6th as I mentioned. He will try to set his sights now on the driver of the number 8 car. That is Dave Lafano. There's the gap up to Lafano in front of him. as they work down the front straightaway. Half a second between Zulu and Lurfano through 1 and 2 and on to the back straightaway. It's about a quarter of a second back to Packer behind him. There's the look back at Packer's number 6. We'll keep an eye out the front here as he looks to chase down Lurfano's number 8. You can see the couple cars in front of him, and then the 4 car way off in the distance. That teeny tiny speck is the number 4, leading the way here with 42 to go, 145 in the books, working lap 146 from Homestead. The Firefighter 280 for the quick finishers racing lead on the SimRacing Racing Network. Thank you to everyone for tuning in here tonight as we continue to watch the Chris Essery domination of Homestead for the second night in a row. Looks to be getting a bit of a run here to the outside of the Lurfano machine, but Lurfano will get back in front of him, headed down the front straightaway. They work back towards turns 1 and 2. Still, it's going to be Essery and Kurdzlek, Ken Pack, Dave Lurfano, and the Nudge 98 of Zulu. Zulu drives it in deep that time, almost gets right on the back bumper of the 8. He's going to have to get out of it a little bit, get that car to rotate through the corner and off of turn number 4, back down the front straightaway. Caution is out as we have an issue on track. Looks like the issue might involve the 32 car of Boisvert. Let's see if we can take a look at a replay. So Boisvert gets loose hard into the inside wall, big time contact with that inside wall, and then just drifts back up onto the track and stops on the racing surface. Obviously terminal damage to the front end of that number 32. Take another look at the replay here. Gets loose coming off of turn number 2, and then hard contact with the inside safer barrier. Hood goes jacked up in the air, and he slides all the way back up onto the racing group with Chavez and Tyrone Yo screaming down the back straightaway. So that's going to bring out the caution here on the afternoon. I believe that is caution number 7 for the field. Here we'll go under caution. The pace car will pick up the field heading down the back straightaway. Let's see here if I have lost track. Nope, 7th caution of the afternoon. But what this is going to do is it's going to open up pit road for what should be the final stop for these guys on track, as they will come down to pit road, get a full tank of fuel, 4 fresh tires, and we will go back racing here with about 36 laps to go to the end of this one. So here they come down pit road. Looks like everyone is headed to the pit stalls, as we will zoom out a little bit to get a better picture of all the cars heading down pit road here on lap number 150 complete, that time at the line for the Essery number 4 machine, as he will pull into his box right there, second pit box. Now really the first pit box, with Dave Hara unfortunately out of this one, as they will get the service done. We will watch the battle off of pit road as a couple cars already back on their way. As we will see the race off of pit road. Ooh, Essery wins it just by the hair on his chinny chin. Looks like Zulu will be able to get around Dave Lurfano to pick up a spot on pit road. But the 4 car will win that battle off of pit road, beating the Kurdzlek 41 to the timing line. So Essery, Kurdzlek, Ken Pack, Zulu, and Dave Lurfano, your top 5. Uber Packer, Nelson, Robinson, Nelson, and Dustin Matney is 6 through 10. Andrew Davis, Clayton Cyrus, Tommy Osborne are 11, 12, and 13. Everyone else still sitting on pit road at the attention of their pit crew at this point. Some of them making their way back out onto the surface, and some cars staying out looking to take a wave around. You can see the, looks like the 53, the Barnett 38, the 14 of Chavez, all on track looking to take a wave around lap, and they will get that chance right here as the caution lights go out on the pace car. 1 to go signal given by the starter. Front row is going to be the SRE 4, the Kurzak 41, Kinpack in Zulu in his number 98 will be in row 2. You'll have Dave Lerfano, I believe, on the inside with Rodney Uberpacker outside him. Then you have James Nelson and the 3 Greg Robinson. Tyler Nelson and Dustin Matney will make up row number 5. Then you looks like we're going to get the Davis 33 and the Clayton Cyrus number 05 in row number 6. So we get set to go back race and come to green with 35 laps to go this afternoon from Homestead Miami Speedway. See if we can bring it home to the end. Hopefully the last pit stops on the afternoon for all these guys should be able to make it to the end of this one. Only, again, 35 laps to go when they get back around here to the restart zone. Control car will be the 4 of Esri. He will fire first. Once he does, the starter will drop the green flag, and we will back underway here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Make sure you pull those belts tight a little bit as the caution will come back out. We will extend the caution by a lap to make sure we get the restart order sorted out. So we will stay under caution here and let everyone get in the right positions here. So we'll actually be 34 laps when we go back racing. So less time to get to the front if you need to, but for the driver of the number 4, Chris Esri, I think it could be 134 laps and he still may pull out the victory. As again, dominating performance here this evening. So far 113 laps led out of 152 complete. Looking to go back to back like Ken Pack did last week here at Homestead for the driver of the 4 machine. But like I said, 34 laps to go next time at the line. We'll see if he can finish it off here from Homestead. And we'll see how this plays out. But still lots of cars in contention. Again, Esri and Kurzlek on row 1. Peck and Zulu on row 2. Rodney Uberpacker and Dave Lerfano make up row 3. James Nelson, Greg Robinson, Dustin Matney, Tyler Nelson, your top 10. Clayton Cyrus, Tyler Seivert, Andrew Davis, Tommy Osborne, Austin Johnston, and Tyrone Yo, will be the top 16 as this time they will work their way through turns 3 and 4. Watch that pace car drop to the infield. In, as I said, control the field in the hands of the driver of the number 4 car, who will drop it into hammer down time as they roll into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out and we are back racing down the front straightaway. Again, Esri gets a great jump. Kurzlek will try to sneak down behind him in front of the Ken Peck 16 into turn number 1. Zulu says, you guys go to the bottom, I'm going to the top here through 1 and 2. He's got company in the form of Lerfano's 8, but Zulu able to clear the 8 machine and now look to get a run on the outside of Ken Peck down the back straightaway. He's got the 41 though in front of him. He's going to have to get out of the gas so he doesn't run over that car. They work down into turn 3 and 4. The group here running from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th all on your screen there as Esri has set sailed already here out front in this one as they work down the front straightaway. It's going to be Kurzlek holding on to 2nd at the line. The yellow flag though back out as we have more trouble in this one. Looks like maybe 4 cars involved in an accident, so we'll take a look at what happened here on lap 155. Looks like Tyler Seivert, Clayton Cyrus, Greg Barnett, and James Bowden all may have caught a piece of this one. So keep an eye here on what happened. Oh, looks like Cyrus will get loose off of 4. He'll collect the 88 hard into the inside wall. And then the 05 will slide back down into the inside wall. So we'll see how Bowden and Barnett got a piece of this. So, bad spot to be for the Barnett 38. Wrong place, wrong time. Nowhere to go for Barnett as he is clobbered by the 05. We'll take one more look at that. Watch the 05 come back across in front of the 38. Nowhere to go for the driver of the 38. We'll take one more look from inside the 38 machine. So keep an eye here. We'll see the 5 car just come back up in front. Again, nowhere to go for Barnett collecting the 05 And that will be some substantial damage to the front end, I believe, of the 38 car. So he will have to probably bring it down and have the crew give it the once over, I would imagine, here, before he will be able to get back going. But we are back under caution on lap 155 for an incident involving the 88 of Tyler Sievert, Clayton Cyrus in the 05, and Greg Barnett in the 38, all involved in that one here on lap 155. Couple cars headed down pit road as they will bring it down to the attention of their pit crews. Most cars stay out on track as they were all just on pit road. We're going to step away for a quick second and bring it back here to the end of this one on the other side of this commercial break as Chris Esri continues to flex his muscle here from Homestead. Welcome back to the SimWorld Racing Network's presentation of the Quick Finishers Racing League. The Firefighter 280 from Homestead, Miami. Speedway field down the back straightaway. Lights are off on the pace car. Field is 2x2. Front row is Chris Esri and Mike Kurdzlak. Ken Peck and Zulu in row 2. Lurfano and Robinson make up row number 3 as they roll into turn 3 and 4. Looking for the green flag this time out of turn number 4. Again, the control car will be the driver of that number 4 machine. Chris Esri will continue to lead this one. Will be 158 complete at the line, looking to go. That'll be 29 laps to the end of this one. Hopefully we can get some laps in under green as back to the restart zone. As the 4 car gets a good jump to 16 right there on his back bumper. That's going to put Kurdzlak on the outside, going into 1. He's not able to clear Ken Peck down into 1 like he did last restart. Now Peck clears the number, 41 easily this time in 1 and 2. Kurdzlak will slip into 3rd. Zulu and Lurfano going at it for 4th and 5th down the back straightaway. Greg Robinson now getting involved in the middle of that one. He is up to the 5th, 6th position there. Turns 3 and 4 back down across the line. 28 to go this time. As Robinson getting a big push to the Zulu 98 down the front straightaway down to turn 1 and 2 there side by side for 4th and 5th, 6th and 7th on your screen right there. As Robinson works the outside of Uber Packer. Zulu clears Lurfano out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Now Robinson gets a good run on the 6. He's going to try to use the 75's push. Not able to get close enough was the Nelson 75, so he will slot in now outside the 6 of Uber Packer off of turn 4. So 2x2, 3 rows deep here down at the 127 row. It's Esri, Ken Peck, Kurdzlak in the 41, your top 3. Then you got Zulu, Lurfano, Robinson, then Nelson and Uber Packer at 6th through 8th. Dustin Matney now up into the mix here, running up in the 9th position here. Or sorry, that is, the 9th position here on lap number 160. He looks to the inside of the Uber Packer 6 through 3 and 4. Paddles heating up though here inside the top 5. Lurfano goes to work on the back of the 41. He's lost position to Zulu here in the late stages of this one, looking to go to the outside now is the 8 around the 41 because he can't get to the bottom because of Nelson 75 right there running the white line inside Lefano. But the momentum able to help Lefano clear past the 75 as they head down the back straightaway. Now Nelson will push it back in on the bottom underneath Lefano, see if he can get a run. He's not. He's going to get tight in the middle of the corner. He's going to have to get out of the gas. It's going to cost him some time and positions as now the 3-car Robinson will get around the Nelson machine. Now Uber Packer looking to do the same. He's got Matney and Davis right on his back bumper through turns 1 and 2. Nelson holds that bottom line. Uber Packer, like he has been for most of this race, right up against that outside wall. He's going to use it. Again, the momentum, such a big proponent of that top side down the back straightaway as the battle is on up front now. Zulu outside at Pack 1, 3, and 4. Zulu might have caught a piece of the wall there. He's still on the outside of Ken Pack down the front straightaway. Zulu going all in here at the end of this one. 24 to go that time at the line. The battle for second is still raging. And so is the battle for about 6th on back. Uber Packer now back to the inside of Lefano, this time out of turn number 2 there, the white-nosed car. But the battle continues to be second now as Pack will slide in behind the Zulu at the back half of the straightaway. But now back to the bottom goes the 16, to the top is the 98. Kurgelek sitting right behind those two, hoping for a mistake to capitalize here late in this one. Greg Robinson might have got a piece of the wall there off of turn number 4. Turns 1 and 2. Ken Pack going to use that bottom to roll back around the inside of the 98 this time off the corner exit, but the fast line on exit seems to be that top side. They're pretty dead even into turn 3 and 4. Kurgelek's really got nowhere to go as both lanes in front of him. They're filled with cars battling side by side. Nagy gets a little loose there through corner number 3 and 4. Sorry, that is Zulu, who is loose as he works his way down the front straightaway and into 1 and 2. Still the battle raging on here for second and third. A little further back, they've seen a prep being settled out in the top 5, but in this battle is on still as now Matney, James Nelson, and Andrew Davis go at it into turn 3 and 4. That is for 8th, 9th, and 10th. The back half of the top 10 still up for grabs late in this one with 21 laps to go at the line for Essery, who leads. Now Zulu up in second has cleared the 16 of Pack as they work back down into turn 1 and 2. It's going to be Essery on the bottom, Zulu up top, then Pack and Kurgelek inside on the bottom there in 3rd and 4th. A little further back to Lefano and Uber Packer running in 5th and 6th. Uber Packer looking to make a move on the 8 machine. Going to get out of the throttle a little bit early. See if he can roll the center a little better to get a good run on exit. Not able to capitalize quite yet, but still about 4 car lengths behind that number 8 machine down the back straightaway. Up front though continues to be the Essery number 4 leading Zulu, Ken Pack, and Kurgelek, who now has a run on the inside of Ken Pack through 1 and 2. They're going to be door to door on the exit of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. It's a drag race as they hit the 3/4 mark of the back straightaway and go back down into 3 and 4. Kurz is going to drive him deep on the bottom to clear the 41, see if he's able to carry that momentum and drift up in front of the 16, but the battle is on up front as Zulu gets the outside of the 4 of Essery down the front straightaway. Zulu goes to the top in 1 and 2. Essery holding that bottom line like he has for a good part of this race. Now Zulu gets that top side working. He's going to get a run and he's going to be in front of the 4 car on the entrance of turn 3, but the 4 of Essery drives it in deep on the bottom. See if he's able to clear Zulu. Not quite yet. Zulu drives it back around the top side. They're even on the exit of turn 4. Essery looks like he's going to nose ahead and lead the lap at the line, but Zulu not giving up, going back at it on the top side. 18 laps to go here in the Firefighter 280 from Homestead, Miami Speedway, and a new quick time on the afternoon. A new fast lap set by Rodney Uberpacker at 32.762. Now Nagy will go to the bottom, place crisscross applesauce on the 4 car. Essery will look to cross him back over on the exit of turn number 4. That's going to get a good run as Zulu will drift up, get a little bit tight on exit. Essery is easily able to clear him, slide up in front as they head back down to turn number 1. As Kurdzalek right there too. Ken Peck and Dave Rafano, your top 5. Don't count any of them out of this one here in the late stages. 17 to go that time at the line. As Zulu's got a little bit of work to do to get back up to the 4 car. He does just that as he drives it hard off of the top side into the inside of turn 3 and 4. See if he's able to hold that car down there on the white line, or if he's going to let Esri back to the bottom on the exit. He sure does. Esri gets back by the 98 of Zulu, who washes up center off again, that time out of turn 4. Battle continues up front as they are still going hard and heavy at it here as they work off of turn number 2. Again, Zulu's going to get that big run and see if he's going to cut it down to the inside again this time. Right to the back bumper of the 4. He's going to go back to the top this time in 3 and 4, so changes up his tactics as the 4 of Esri will hug that bottom side. Zulu almost up into the wall that time out of turn number 4. He's going to lose a bit of ground to the 4, but also a bit of ground to the 41, who's closing in now, about 2 to 3 car lengths between that. As I say that, they go even through turns 1 and 2. Nagy on the outside, Kurdzalek again right down on the bottom. Zulu gets that strong run off the top side down the back straightaway. 14 and a half laps to go at the halfway point of the back straightaway. So Esri has fought off a challenge here in the late stages of this one from driver the 98 out of Hungary. Zulu battling back though on the top side, holding on to that second position right now as he's got Kurdzalek in 3rd, Ken Peck in 4th behind him, and then back to Dave Rafano in 5th, who's got company in the form of Uber Packer sitting in his number 6 position, ironically in 6th. Zulu and Kurdzalek though go back at it down the back straightaway. Kurdzalek loses a little bit of ground at the halfway point, but back to the bottom Kurds will go. Then Zulu on the top side. That top side so strong here on these fresh tires. Don't know if this run is going to be long enough. Oh, he gets into the back of the 16. Sorry, the 16 gets back into... the 16 of Ken Peck gets into the back of the Zulu 98 on corner exit. As Zulu just got tight there coming out of the corner, and Ken Peck had nowhere to go. It's going to cost Zulu as he drops all the way back from 2nd to 6th. Kurdzalek now up to 2nd. And the 3rd place car now, Dave Rafano, gets that car up onto a podium position here late in this one, as Uber Packer will be left to deal with the 16 to Ken Peck, who lost all his momentum after getting into the back of the number 98 car. Take another look here at the contact. You can see Zulu gets loose off of the corner. Ken Peck again nowhere to go, just gets into the back of the 98 and pushes kind of him out of the way, opening the door for both the 8 and the 6 to get by, move themselves in front of both those drivers, as Ken Peck will hold on to 5th, Zulu back in 6th. Esri though continues to lead the way up front by about 7/10 of a second rather, as they head down into turn number 1. Kurdzalek currently sitting in 2nd. That is Clayton Cyrus on the top side. He is going to go a lap down in this one here, as Esri will clear him and put him in the middle of himself and Kurdzalek down the back straightaway. Field works its way down into turns 1 and 2, only 10 laps to go, and Esri out front again after a late race challenge by the driver, that number 98, Zoltan Nudge, aka Zulu, here in this one as they work their way down the back straightaway. There's the gap from 1st to 2nd, is about half a second, 6/10 of a second between Esri and Kurdzalek. Fano is holding on to 3rd place back there, as he runs in the top 3 here late in this one, opens up a bit of a gap back to the 2 cars behind him who are battling side by side down the front straightaway. That's the 16 and the 6, working their way into turn 1 and 2, still side by side through the corner. As as we run off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Dave Lorfano loves seeing this in the rearview mirror as these two cars go side by side again down into turn 3 and 4. That lets Lorfano open up the distance between himself and those two cars as the side-by-side racing definitely slowing those guys down, as Lorfano able to open up the gap ever so slightly as we come to 8 laps to go for Esri that time at the stripe. Now Ken Pack gets by Uber Packer and clears him, and they both go to the bottom lane. They got to get on the whip though, or they got to close the door back to the 8 car who has a difference of about 8/10 of a second back to Ken Peck there. One spot behind him, and then Uber Packer just behind him in the back half of the top 5. Zoltan Nudge, aka Zulu, still holding on here to the 6th position after his incident with the 16 car again. The Zulu machine just got loose and Ken Pack nowhere to go, kind of got into his back bumper, sending the 98 slideways through almost down into the inside wall. Zulu able to collect it and continue on, only losing 3 or 4 spots, but now running in 6th is the 98. Up front continues to be the 4 car this time out of turn number 4. It'll be 6 to go for Esri. There's the gap back to the driver of the number 41. That is none other than Mike Kurdzilek driving that 41 machine through turns 1 and 2, and then a little further back again to Dave Lorfano. Officer Lorfano holding on to 3rd spot with Ken Pack and Rodney Uberpacker looking to close that gap down on him. Starting to whittle the gap down between himself and the driver of the number 8. Down the front straightaway, there's the distance between Ken and Lorfano's 8 up to Kurdzilek, and then the car way up at the front. That is the Esri number 4 machine as they work off of work off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. 5 to go at the line for Esri. Again, Esri looking to go back-to-back here on Thursday, Friday. Broadcasted races here for the Quick Finishers Racing League. Picked up the win last night with the AARL and looking to do what Ken Peck did last week. Turn 1 and 2, 4 to go that time for the driver of the number 4 Mobile 1 machine. Continues to lead here. Three to go that time. The distance from 1st to 2nd, almost about a second. It's 9/10 of a second for Esri, so a comfortable lead here heading out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway with only 3 laps to go here. 4.5 miles around the Homestead Miami Speedway, the Firefighter 280 on the SimWorld Racing Network, down to the final 2 circuits this time out of turn 4. 2 to go for Chris Esri in his Mobile 1 Ford Mustang. Gap still staying pretty steady at 8/10 of a second between himself and Kurds. Into turn 1 and 2. Esri working that bottom line like he has for most of this event. Through 3 and 4 for the second last time out of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Esri will see the white flag from the starter this time by. There it is. Esri on the final circuit here at Homestead Miami Speedway, looking to collect his first All-American Racing League win of the 2025 season. Works underneath the 14 of Phyllis Chavez, putting him another lap down here late in this one as he heads down the back straightaway. Continuing to open the gap back to Kurdzilek down through 3 and 4. Could almost coast it home from here, but tonight's winner is going to be the driver of the number 4 machine, Chris Esri out of Bakersfield, California. Goes back to back at Homestead, checkered flag in the air. Esri to victory lane for the 2nd time in as many nights. second place to Kurdzlek. Dave Lafano will come home with a strong third place. Ken Peck will hold on to fourth. Uber Packer will round out the top 5. Zulu coming home in 6th. Dustin Matney will finish in 7th, just in front of James Nelson, who comes home in 8th. Andrew Davis with a good night coming home in 9th, and Tommy Osborne, the big mover on the afternoon, up 13 positions from his starting spot. He will be finishing in the top 10 with a 10th place finish. So we will step away for 1 second here. We'll see if we can get some interviews with tonight's top 3, and we'll be right back with Dave Lafano, see how he is happy with his results here from the Homestead Miami Speedway. Hey Dave, it's Nathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey Nathan, I got you.
Top 3 for you tonight, driving that number 8 machine. That's got to be a pretty good result. I was reading on the message boards earlier, not on a bit of a hot streak here, so that's got to be a good way to turn around your luck here.
Yeah, I mean, I struggle here. I kind of figured something out that last round. Just ran harder than I typically would, and it seemed to work better. So just the opposite of what I typically do. But yeah, take a third. I think I finished 4th here last night. So 1 spot better, get the podium. So move on to Martinsville.
Yeah, Martinsville next week. So from some 1.5 race in the last couple weeks, some beating and banging next week. Pretty good there at Martinsville. Know you enjoy those flat type racetracks. So hopefully we can talk to you after the race next week also.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks to QFRL to put these on, and James and all these guys. It's been a good race. No fast repairs makes it tough, but it's been good. So looking forward to moving on through the season.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dave. Good luck next week.
Thank you, Nathan.
All right. That was 3rd place finisher Dave Lafano. See if we can grab a winner with runner-up Mike Kurdzlek here in a second. See if we can grab him. Kurds, it's Nathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Big 2nd place finish for the old 41 machine here. Didn't really have anything for Esri at the end of it, but got to be happy with a podium.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the podium. It was another good points night. But once again, I didn't have nothing for that 4 car again. But I did have a good car, and I'm very happy with the way it went tonight.
Obviously, headed out of Homestead. Now we're headed to Martinsville. Definitely a different type of racing next week. Probably a little more beating and banging. And hopefully you can find yourself on the right side of a podium finish again next week.
Oh, yeah, I want to survive that race for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kurtz. Good luck next week.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that was 2nd place finisher tonight. Driver of the 41, Mike Kurdzlek, and now we'll get a word with race winner out of Bakersfield, California, Chris Essery. Hey, Chris, it's Nathan up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Mr. Homestead, I think we'll start calling you. Dominating win again tonight. Took what you learned last night and just put a whooping on him here again tonight. It's got to feel pretty good.
Man, you told me I had to get to 2 before I could get to 3, and that's all I could think about.
Well, you did it. Looking for 3 next week. Definitely a different type of racing, though, as we head to Martinsville. Should be pretty much a beating and banging type of event next week, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a real tough one there.
Well, you got 2 nights to see if you can get another victory, and looking for 3 in a row on broadcasted races. So good luck next week, and hopefully we can keep the run going.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem. That's tonight's winner out of Bakersfield, California. Driver of the number 4 Mobile 1 machine. That is Chris Essery. Again, picking up back-to-back wins here from Homestead, Miami. Let's see if we can give you a rundown of the race results here from the Firefighter 280 from Homestead, Miami Speedway on the Quick Finishers Racing League here. So obviously, Chris Essery picking up the win. Mike Kurdzlek, Dave Lafano, your podium finishers. Ken Peck will come home in 4th. Rodney Uberpacker battling to a 5th place there. Zulu obviously got to be happy with a 6th place finish after his bit of a miscue there coming out of turn number 4, and then Ken Peck just really having nowhere to go, gets into the back of him, finishing 6th, a great result for Zulu here tonight. Dustin Matney finishes up in the 7th position. James Nelson in the 75 will come home 8th. Andrew Davis able to make all the laps this week after being out early last week. Good bounce back race for the Davis 33. And then Tommy Osborne, like I mentioned, the big mover on the evening, 13 spots up from his starting position in 23rd, up to 10th here at the end. Another great run. A shout out to the young Tyler Nelson coming home 11th here at Homestead, putting in a great run here tonight in that number 85 machine. Greg Robinson out of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan will bring home his number 3 car in the 12th spot. Tyrone Yo finishing a strong 13th out of the 25 car field here tonight. Austin Johnston in the 77, 14th, and James Bowden coming home with a solid 15th place. First car 1 lap down, and this one was Bowden. Clayton Cyrus losing that lap there at the end in the 05, and then Philip Chavez 2 laps down, unfortunately, here in 17th. Greg Barnett involved in an early race incident, battles back to an 18th position. It's what you get for sticking it out through the end of the race. Barnett did, and he has made up a few spots here as the competition started to drop out. Take a look here. Everyone after 18th. Tyler Sievert in the 88, first race in the Quick Finishers Racing League, out there in the number 88 tonight, coming home 19th, 29 laps off the pace. Michael Boisvert, we saw him get into the inside safer barrier hard there in the back half of the race, finishing in the 32 machine in 20th spot. Ryan Steinhoff had a bit of an issue there with a pit road penalty late in the event, then spinning it out coming off of turn 4 brings an early end to his night. Kirby Wainscott led 4 laps earlier in the event. He will finish tonight in 22nd. Dave Hara had a great run going there, but again, a speeding penalty set Dave behind the 8 ball, then charging back through as the first car 1 lap down. Had to avoid a spinning 77 of Austin Johnson. Just made contact, unfortunately, with the 14 machine of Philip Chavez, ending Dave Hara's night early after 62 laps down at that point. Let's see here. Completed 225 laps did Hare. Then 24th finisher Steve Magoo is the last car running at the start of this one. And then Ricky Riley and Curtis Auburn did not start this event here tonight. So that is your full field rundown here from Homestead Miami Speedway. Thanks again for tuning in on the SimWorld Racing Network for the Quick Finishers Racing League Firefighters 280. Shout out to all the men and women fighting the wildfires down there in southern Florida, currently trying to keep them at bay and get them extinguished before they cause too much damage to anything down there. As I mentioned earlier, back on the air next Friday night from Miami we're going to Martinsville. From Martinsville Speedway for race number 7 of the Quick Finishers Racing League season, and also Thursday for race number 7 of the All-American Racing League season. So back-to-back races again next week from Martinsville. Be on the air at 7:50 Eastern Time on Friday and 8:20 Eastern Time on Thursday. So 8:20 on Thursday, 7:50 on Friday. Remember to subscribe and like to the YouTube channel, and check us out on Facebook, SimWorld Racing Network, All-American Racing League, Quick Finishers Racing League, all found on Facebook. Reach out if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Let us know how you enjoy the broadcast. Happy to have them back on the air for the Quick Finishers Racing League, and look forward to being back on the air next week from Martinsville Speedway for back-to-back nights. Chris Esri will look to go for 3 in a row. Like I told him, he's got to win 2 before he can win 3, and he sure did that here tonight at Homestead. Mr. Homestead will wrap it up here from Homestead Miami Speedway. And again, thanks for joining us on the SimWorld Racing Network. My name is always Nathan Christensen, voice of the Quick Finishers Racing League, and we will talk to you next week.